The 1998 playoffs are here, and as destiny would have it, it is the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks, not in a rematch of last year's 7-game second-round series, rather a renewal of a rivalry growing in its ferocity and importance. There is no place that we would rather be than right here, and we're delighted to have you with us. The 1998 NBA playoffs for the Heat and Knicks about to get Larry Johnson, second year with the Knicks, and he hits his third field goal in 4 tries.
Larry Johnson is a tough guy at the low post.
Here's Zoe going to work quickly, again finding an open man, and Leonard hits a 3.
Leonard with the open shot.
Jack Alonso's making every play right.
Oh, he's handled the ball extremely well, Eric.
Mourning already has 3 assists, and his triple rims out to Oakley, looking long for Starks, who makes the play.
And that's one thing the Heat has to avoid, Eric, emptying the backcourt so that the Knicks can run out on perimeter shots.
He'd have had the better of the perimeter shrew on the baseline, out for Oakley. Childs, nice pass. Johnson on the reverse, and Larry Johnson, he has been their offense. He has 10 of their 14 points.
And a very good pass. Chris Childs says
Larry Johnson has 10 for New York. It's the Heat by 11. Houston's jump shot.
He enjoys.
Tim Hardaway has 15 points. Starks got through Mashburn and gets the layup. 5 points for John Starks. The Knicks with only 21 points with 7.5 minutes left in this second quarter. So New York shooting 31% to Miami's 46%. DJ Brown already with 8 points, 6 rebounds, working against Buck Williams. He'd swing it for a Leonard 3. And the rebound taken away by Chris Mills. He'd already have 5 triples in this first half, and a reach-in foul against Miami. And it is against Deshaun Leonard, his first.
John can't understand that, but this is not the time to quibble about the officiating. Just get out. The game's going too well for the Miami Heat. Let's watch the play. Keith Askins, I think Deshaun might have gotten a piece of Starks' arm, and that was the call.
Almost turned it over. Starks flipping it out with 4 to shoot. Ward drills a triple. So Charlie Ward with 5 of his 7 points here in the second quarter, and New York mounting a comeback. What a wild first half. The Heat by 18, and Starks got the bucket and the foul on the other end. How do you like this for pace of the playoffs?
Well, let's
by 19. Right now, the lead is 17.
Trying desperately to get that man shots, and he gets one there.
10 points for Allen Houston. He's made 3 of his 10 shots from the field. Heat by 18. Leonard for 3. Got it!
Oh, that's a nice play. Deshaun Leonard on that play is usually the second cutter around. When his defender went under the screen, Leonard stopped, caught, popped, and drained the 3.
Leonard's second triple, the Heat's 8th. And Miami's equaled their biggest lead right now, 21.
Oh, this is terrific defense.
Mills on the drive, into Johnson. Can't find an opening. Back to Mills over Mourning. What terrific defense. We got a lockdown going here in South Florida with the Heat up 21. Hardaway for 3. And the rebound taken by Larry Johnson. Here's Houston by Marley. Oh, Dan stuck it away. What a steal by Marley.
Good pass, good entry by Marley.
PJ against Johnson, who pushes him. No call. Hardaway tees up a 3, and boom! Tim Hardaway. 5 threes in the game, and the Heat lead by 24. The Knicks take a 20-second timeout, and they're out of their seats again here in Miami.
Let's watch Allen Houston put it on the floor. He seems to get by Marley right here. But Dan slashes at it, gets the ball, starts the fast break, and Tim Hardaway from the edges. P.J. Brown with the pass, Hardaway with 3-point range, bottom of the net.
Tim Hardaway, Jack, and Vashawn Leonard, the only NBA duo to both have over 150 threes on the year tonight. Hardaway, 5 out of 7 from three-point land.
7 for 11 are the Heat from that distance.
Heat fans, you can guarantee the best available seats to see the Heat play next season and get a priority number for seats in the new state-of-the-art American Airlines Arena. Heat season tickets are on sale now. Call 305-577-HEAT. Speak to a sales manager and join the Heat. Heat by 24, 9:18 left here in the third quarter. Biggest lead of the game for Miami, and oh no, Alonzo Mourning. It's really odd about this game, Jack. The Heat having a terrific night with very little help from their centerpiece. He has been troubled with fouls all night. He's only played 11 minutes, and he's going to have to sit down with only 7 points.
Well, again, look at Larry Johnson. This is a great move. Spin under, pump.
Houston on the take, in the lane, tough shot, he rolls it home. Allen Houston has a dozen, and the Knicks rallying back.
Knicks getting better control of their offense now, and the Heat has not been able to get to they've gotten open shots, they just haven't knocked them down. 7
straight points for New York. 8 on the shot clock. P.J. Brown poked away by Oak. 5 to shoot. P.J. hooking it up, and Oakley taking the game over. This is Charlie Ward, and it's shooting percentage coming down. Now down to 42%. Oakley got a layup.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the attention that Allen Houston draws, and the defenders so intent on Houston got the ball right inside for an easy one.
9 straight points for the Knicks. Heat need one here. Hardaway, step back jumper. Kaboom! Cold-blooded Tim Hardaway, 30 points. Halfway through the third quarter.
And you can almost see Tim Hardaway thinking, my team needs a hoop, nobody else is getting it, I'll get it myself.
Tim Hardaway, he excels on the playoff stage. Allen Houston driving with Leonard, ducks in, missing off the back iron. PJ with 10 rebounds. Heat by 17. Hardaway had his pocket picked by Charlie Ward. Ward for Houston. Good foul by Leonard. But a terrific takeaway. Houston denied. Got it back. Over the arm of PJ. He banked it in. Houston has 8 of his 16 here in the third quarter. And the Knicks trailing by only 11. Mills got it back, then lost it. 2 to shoot. Starks got it off. And knocked it down.
Whoa. And John Starks start to shake his head and get that expression on his face. Let me have it, guys. I can get hot in a hurry.
For the first time since the first quarter, the Knicks are within 9. A minute left in the third. Hardaway for 3. And the Heat starting to miss fire on the offensive end. We got a ball game here in game 1.
Watch John Starks get this ball with the shot clock winding down. He knows he has to shoot it quickly. Bottom of the net for Starks.
Starks in trouble. And a jump ball.
Great play. Great play by Eric Murdoch. Starks picks it up. Tries to take it to the rim. And Eric Murdoch.
10:45 remaining in game 1. Houston back for Starks. On the drive. Over Zoe, it sticks. 8.5 minutes left. Knicks trail by 11. Childs on the spin. Childs on a beautiful move.
That's a great
first
shot.
points of the playoffs. By the way, in Chicago, the Bulls with just a 4-point halftime lead over the Nets.
The lead here down to 9.
With just over 8 minutes left.
Single coverage.
So, for Murdoch, 7 on the shot clock. Got the bucket again! Plus the foul! Eric Murdoch!
5 calls were ridiculous. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. We cannot win without him being on the court.
Hardaway with the shot, and he's given Miami a 1-point lead.
Then we gave one away, but the series, like Buck said, the series starts right now.
The flippers on the screen and the hips on the screen are plays that we're going to make sure that are legal. So I'm telling you now to make sure you keep those screens legal. both sides.
Chris Childs on the defense. Miami's down 3.
No middle! No middle!
Hardaway picked up by Ewing, who blocks it. Patrick Ewing with a block and the defensive play of the game.
Nah, you know, my emotions. You know, my emotions got a hold of me.
Somebody said that they gave us a gift, but we gave that gift right back to them. So we should have won this ball game.
Game 4 was played the very next day. Not much time to prepare.
Let's roll it, baby! Let's get ready to run ball!
And the Heat seeking to tie the series at 2. Starks digging for the basket. Oh, John Starks has returned to the offense.
The odds are against us. Everybody's going to write us off. This series over with, all of that stuff.
It's important that we close this series out quickly as possible because we know Chicago, right now we're figuring that they're going to win their next ball game, so we don't want them resting and waiting in the wings for us.
It's degrading for them to start talking Chicago. It was very degrading to us.
Miami bounced back with a win in Game 5, but the game was overshadowed by an ugly incident in the final minutes.
Whoa! And P.J. Brown threw one. And Charlie Ward going out. Now there's an all-out brawl.
I watched the tape, and I saw what I thought was the most cowardly act I've seen in my 8 years in the NBA.
Why would Charlie Ward, why would he try to do that? The game was over with. It was 15 points. Why make that kind of play at that time of the game? Unless they're trying to instigate something.
For Coach Riley to imply that Charlie Ward was either trying to hurt P.J. Brown or instigated it is absurd.
I knew that this series was going to be a dogfight, not literally speaking.
Now we're looking at suspensions for Game 6.
Well, first I'm disappointed. I didn't think I did anything to be suspended.
Your concern is for your teammate, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it again.
Miami hoping to bring it to a 7th game back home on Sunday. The Knicks looking to close it out. Marley for 3. Oh, Dan Marley has hurt the Knicks. Mourning for 3. Oh, what a shot. Alonzo Mourning with a 3-pointer.
To tell you the truth, I think this is the toughest game out of the whole series. They played tougher than they had ever played with Allen or Patrick.
It's one game for the season. We're either going to move on or we're going to come home.
It was one game or somebody's season to be over.
Hey, baby, back on the ball here. Let's wind up. Back on the ball here. Take this thing out here.
The New York Knicks with a rather loose approach as they hit the court, and it has come down to this, the 7th and final game of the Eastern Conference semi-final series. The winner will advance to the Eastern Conference Final to face the Chicago Bulls.
At guard, number 163 from Boise State, Chris Childs. At guard, number 26-6 from Tennessee.
Series, they are going to have to rediscover that mean and nasty edge. Miami Arena has been a house of horrors for the Knicks. Some very frustrating playoff losses. They've dropped 6 in a row here, and certainly the Knicks do not want to go back to New York for game through Tuesday, down 0-2. Starting lineups and opening tip-off coming up.
Begin with the Knicks and the Heat from Miami, and then it's
Miami Heat. The front of the post, key for New York's defense. Miami likes to do the same thing at their end. Houston with the left hand, getting by Leonard. That time Bashan Leonard on him, and that's the first lead for the Knicks in the series. Mourning quickly ties it up. The Heat led from wire to wire in Game 1, leading by as many as 24. And the brief 4-2 lead, the first taste of a lead for the Knicks. That's a key part of the Miami attack. Quickly react after a score with Alonzo Mourning sprinting right down the middle of the floor. And so far, Charles Oakley is protecting himself. He's had a couple of opportunities to foul Alonzo Mourning hard and hasn't done it. Johnson against Brown. Larry Johnson effective in Game 1. The fall away. One of the best shot blockers in the league. Oakley fires away. Charles Oakley pulls underneath. Not expecting a double team. Has to kick it out. Charles Oakley. And Oakley, she's been seriously ill. Starks in daily contact as he fires the 3. Knocks it down. He tried not to use it as an excuse that it has nothing to do with his play, but he's a very emotional person, Matt, and it certainly has had an effect on him. And John, like all outside shooter, has to really work hard to keep that stroke refined, and it takes a lot of work in the practice gym before games. Sometimes maybe 200-300 jumpers a day to feel good about it. Sometimes John slackens off a little bit when he gets tired. I think that was part of his problem late in the season. 2 on the shot clock. Leonard for 3. LaShawn Leonard in and out. Oakley grabs the board. Leonard's the game's leading scorer. He's got 9 already. Chris Childs making his move. Somebody left him wide open. Childs, another player who needs to look for his offense for the Knicks. Well, there's that early transition look for the Knicks with Charles Oakley on a drag out high, setting that little bump to open up the lane for Chris Childs. The Knicks want to keep attacking early, so once again, they don't have to go and work half-court offense against Miami. Morning call for the maybe in about 10 or 12 games. We'll get them under 20. Got 5 points so far here in the first quarter. A minute remaining, opening period. Mashburn just in the game, guarding Larry Johnson. Johnson the spin move, and one. Larry Johnson with a chance for a three-point play. Johnson with a primal scream as he walks to the free throw line. Mashburn his first foul. A smart play by the Knicks to go right away inside against Jamal Mashburn. Not a particularly good defensive player. No way he can do anything. Finding Johnson. Johnson hard. Shot will go and a foul. And Larry Johnson with a chance. Knicks look to break once again. Good transition defense from the Heat. Johnson left alone. Mashburn fell down, and Larry Johnson able to put towards Dan Marley. He'll be back out here sooner than we expect. Back to you. Hey, Paul's walking on eggshells. Cummings gets the feed. Nice pass from Charlie Ward. And Terry Cummings, the 16-year veteran, now 30. Holds their opponents about 31%, and the reason is they don't normally double team inside. They're the best defensive rebounding team, so teams don't get offensive rebounds and kick out, but they can't keep Miami from knocking down these threes. Charlie Ward takes it. Stark blocked by Mourning. His second rejection. Stark slow getting up the other way. Marley, wide open three. And Charlie Ward, the long rebound. And you could see the strain on the part of Dan Marley just to get that three-pointer up with that hernia. Knicks down by 12. The Heat very impressive once again here in the first half. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Starks, he played 18 minutes. Remember, he only played 22. Houston gets Marley out of the way. Marley wondering why a whistle wasn't there as he hobbles up the floor. He really still is hurting. Houston has to see that and try and take advantage. And Allen Houston spent a long time on the bench after his technical foul. Houston now with 8 points. Heat lead by 11. LaShawn Leonard with Charlie Ward on him. Height advantage there for Miami, and Leonard uses it well. 21 points here in the first half for LaShawn Leonard. You can just see the confidence in his body language right now. As we said, a spot-up shooter trying to improve on putting the ball on the floor. He's doing it all offensively in this first half. Houston wants to take Marley, settles for the three, knocks it down. Allen Houston from downtown. The lead is 10 for Miami, just under 3.5 remaining in the second quarter. And Pat Riley senses right now that Dan Marley unable to move, and Allen Houston starting to heat up as Keith Haskins waiting. Hardaway, B.J. Brown from outside. Cummings has done a good job on the board since coming in. That's his 6th rebound. Deflected by Hardaway. Heat with active hands in the first half. Starks, quick three. It's good. John Starks from downtown. That's one game against the Heat in the regular season. The Knicks need a huge game from Allen Houston. Johnson, the deflection. And Knicks starting to pick it up defensively. Starks, that's a three. John Starks from downtown. A 9-0 run by the Knicks. Starks with 11. And it's a 4-point Heat lead. A big factor had to be for John Starks, who slumped mightily in the last month of the season, but getting off to a good start in game one with a few layups. And now those jumpers have come a little bit easier, but he's being extra aggressive in looking for his shot. Everybody working overtime here. Hustle by both teams. Hardaway kicks it out. Keith Haskins hits the bottom of the rim. And Starks coming away. Houston set up. Leonard runs out. Allen Houston from downtown. 4 straight threes by the Knicks. And it's a 1-point game. A 12-0 run. All from downtown. Leonard, pretty pass. And Brown and a foul. Cummings didn't foul him hard enough. There's a way to stop the Knicks getting into the three-point party with the Miami. Houston drives hard, draws the foul, won't go. Starks gets the rebound, lost it momentarily, but Childs picks it up. Lead down low, Larry Johnson. Johnson, midcourt, and a foul. Larry Johnson again with a chance for a three-point play. The Knicks are fired up. They've regained the lead after trailing by 14 earlier in the period.
Well, at this point, the question has been answered as to how Allen Houston will come back from the 5 for 18 game one. He has looked for his shot, found it, knocking down some three-pointers. But the other question about Allen Houston is, can he make his teammates better? Can he draw defense and find open people? Well, he did right there, but just his first assist of the game. It's really not in Allen Houston's makeup to be a Grant Hill type of player, to draw the defense and kick to open people. He has played off the ball so much of his career. It's going to be a tough transformation for him, but that's what goes with being the best player on the team right now, and that's what he is with Patrick Ewing on the bench in street clothes.
Remember, Houston overcame a wrist injury earlier. He was playing poorly the first couple of months of the season. Shouldn't say poorly, but struggling. But every month he's gotten better, and he's become an aggressive leader, calling for the ball at crunch time. Johnson hitting the free throw. Knicks with a 2-point advantage. Hardaway with the drive. Mourning the tip and the foul. Thank you, Paul. Chris Mills forcing it up and gets it.
The biggest guy is Larry Johnson at about 6'7", and who really doesn't play big defensively.
Houston makes the move and puts it in. As Marley unable to stay with him again. Marley re-injuring his groin. He's playing with that hernia, and he's hobbled. Houston going right by him after the initial contact. Mourning deep in the season last year was his debut in the playoffs. Charlie Ward hard at Mourning, puts it in, and a foul. Charlie Ward goes right at Mourning. That is a chance for a three-point play.
Well, Dan Marley, and we don't want to belabor the point, playing with a hernia, trying to get up in on Allen Houston, take him off the jump shot, make him a driver, where in game one, Allen Houston struggled in that area, driving too far, getting the shot blocked. And on this particular play, Allen Houston was the passer from up top. Charlie Ward, playing off the ball, did a nice job challenging Alonzo Mourning. At the other end of the floor, I'm a little surprised that Miami is not taking the ball harder to the basket. There is just no shot blocking threat for the Knicks right now.
Ward completes the three-point play. That foul on Mourning, Matt, his third. Certainly not the foul difficulty that he was in game one. Mills isolated with Hardaway. Hardaway the leaner. Tim Hardaway, tough shot.
That's tough cover for Chris Mills. No way he can move the feet and keep Hardaway from penetrating with his ability to cross over, just get low to the ground and get there. And they say the Knicks have no shot blocking today. They haven't had it all year since Patrick Ewing went down.
Patrick Ewing is still the leader in block shots for this team as Oakley puts it up, draws the foul. Despite the fact that he injured his wrist back on December 20th, he is the leading shot blocker this season for the Knicks.
And Patrick Ewing had quite a bit of comment on after game one as to showing his frustration about feeling if he had played, he would have been able to obviously do a much better job for the Knicks, and he desperately wants to play. But the New York organization and team doctors are saying nada for now.
The word today is that it's unlikely he will play in the first round. It's not definitely, but unlikely. He has worked so hard with the Knicks strength and conditioning coach, Greg Brittenham. He's in good shape stamina-wise, conditioning-wise, but he still hasn't had the full contact. Hey, his injury was career-threatening when it happened. They're amazed that they're even thinking about putting him back on the floor.
And to Patrick Ewing's credit, he is a rehab nut, loves to work out all year long, and took this as a challenge, but I think he wanted to prove the doctors wrong, that he would get back before this season is over.
Well, they're amazed at his progress as the Knicks lead by one. They go down low, Mourning on the lob. Oakley playing in front. A nice pass from Hardaway.
That's just the offensive execution, just too good there. Nothing that the shorter Charles Oakley could do. Could be a little bit more pressure on the ball on the perimeter.
Oakley left open, now drives, lost it. Ward making his move. Larry Johnson nails the jumper. Johnson with 15 points. Knicks back up by one. Several lead changes here in the early minutes of the third. Leonard, plenty of time, gets it down to Mourning, passing up the shot. Hardaway, the little hop step, short on the three. Oakley, the rebound.
Tim Hardaway been very...
3 now on Larry Johnson. Johnson having some contact with the fans here. Joey Crawford pushes them away.
Well, the Miami Heat are doing a good job every time now that Charles Oakley is fronting. He's unable to really keep his body, and you see Alonzo Mourning took that shot in the throat area. The mask is big, not big enough. He's going to need one of those catcher's masks that has a little flippy-do on the bottom to protect the throat area, but a typical hard playoff foul. I mentioned how these two, Larry Johnson and Mourning, not liking each other. Goes back to the days in Charlotte. First, Larry Johnson was the first pick in the draft one year. Alonzo Mourning came the next year and was one of those, whose team is it, who's the man, on and off the floor. Petty, but it's been lasting.
Not a problem anymore as Allen Houston makes his move against Marley. The feed to Oakley, blocked by Mourning, his third. Shot clock down to 7. Houston again with a drive. The feed, Larry Johnson. This time, Johnson can't get the roll. Keeps it alive to Mills. Oakley steps back way off of P.J. Brown, able to get it. We've already had Oakley with the steal. We've already had 7 lead changes here in this third quarter. Johnson underneath. Oakley's tip won't go. Johnson with the right hand.
Well, we see the Knicks getting so many what look like easy scoring opportunities inside, but the lack of lift on the part of Charles Oakley and Larry Johnson until that last tip hit really hurting them, unable to finish.
Again, they lob it over Oakley. Some nice entry passes for Mourning.
Yeah, fronting the post is not getting it done right now. It's what Jeff Van Gundy wanted in game 1, never got it. Not enough pressure on the passer, so it really negates that fronting aspect.
Dan Marley pumps his fist in the air in disgust. He is really hurting trying to keep up with Houston, who nails the open jumper. Houston now with 20. Mourning has now 10 of his 25 in this third quarter, and we're just past the midway point. Hardaway backs up, won't go. B.J. Brown fights for the rebound. Mills gets a hand on it. Hardaway takes it away. Now Houston and Hardaway.
That's just a matter of wanting it more. Tim Hardaway with strong hands wrestling it away from Allen Houston.
Marley can see just does not have the explosiveness. Leonard. Ward tipped that one. Johnson knocks it loose. And it goes out of bounds. Oh, Brown able to get it. Didn't even see him in the corner, and he's 6'11". Leonard on the drive. Deshaun Leonard. 25 points to do playoff career high. Jeff Van Gundy not happy right now when he calls timeout.
And John Starks throwing a towel. I think they're both upset with the players on the floor not getting after those loose balls.
Oh, Oakley boxing out on Mourning, able to tip it to Ward. Starks back in the game. Nice feed down low, and Johnson is back. Johnson still chatting with the fans.
Both teams coming undone, just taking rushed jumpers. Here's another one.
Starks hits another three. 4 for 4 from downtown. Back to Johnson. Johnson single coverage. Spins and gets the roll. No double team coming at him that time.
Oh, the Knicks have been diligent about.
Houston makes his move. Childs. Chris Childs knocks the shot down. A 2-pointer for Childs. His second field goal. Knicks lead by 5.
And that's exactly what the Knicks want from Allen Houston. Isolate him to try to look at Keith Askin, see if he can't get by or score. If not, makes the scoring pass, which he did to Chris Childs.
Big shot from P.J. Brown. Left open. Nails the jumper. P.J.
I'm George Morrison, reminding you to give all you can and score one for the kids. And score one for the kids. For the kids. And score one for the kids.
Not going anywhere for a while?
What is the line?
And score one for the kids.
Grab a Snickers, because nothing handles your hunger better.
Oh! It remains on Houston. Houston shooting over Marley. Tough shot from Allen Houston. And the Knicks back up by 4. Houston now with 22.
Marley's philosophy is to get up into the face, into the chest of Allen Houston, make him put it on the floor, and Allen is improved in that area dramatically over the last couple of years.
Some hard screens being set out there. The physical plays certainly picked up in the last couple of minutes. All nearly deflected. Shot clock down to 5. Marley, tough three-pointer with a hand in his face, and it's the side of the backboard. 3-on-1 break the other way. Houston, the runner, inside. Allen Houston gives the Knicks their largest lead of the game. And Pat Riley wants timeout. 24 points for Allen Houston, and the Knicks lead it by 6. Just over 7 minutes remaining. Fourth quarter in Miami. Knicks looking to even up the series. Made a go of it, but obviously not 100%, and Leonard throws it away.
And Riley's choice come back with Askins, who has not done a particularly good job on Houston because he has fouled him, and Askins doesn't give him anything at the offensive end.
A 6-point Knick lead. Just over 6.5 remaining in the fourth. Knicks on a mini run right now. John Starks, a big spark off the bench. The entire bench has played well. Starks for 3. Rebound falls to the floor, and Askins picking it up. Several players mistiming the jumps. They lob down low. Houston with the steal. Ahead to Starks. Starks underneath. And a foul. John Starks able to knock it in. As Keith Askins has word after Starks puts it in, but a chance for a three-point play. Now the Knicks now up by 8. 4 fouls on Askins. Starks now with 18.
Well, Keith Askins trying to commit the hard foul here to try and take away the layup and make Starks go to the line for 2. And then John Starks almost overreacting there as hands were on one another. That's how a lot of these little flashpoints start after the play, whether it's words or the extra elbow, the extra shove.
Largest lead of the game for the Knicks. An 11-3 run gives them a 9-point advantage. Approaching midway through the fourth. Leonard's been quiet after the great first half. Mourning double team. Shot clock down to 6. Alonzo Mourning gets the roll. What an afternoon for Alonzo Mourning, now with 27.
Just overpowering Terry Cummings inside. Even though Tim Hardaway has had a very quiet afternoon, you expect him to try to take over this game very shortly.
Houston, that's a 2. Won't go. Mourning is 11th rebound, and Starks called for the foul as he tried to tip it out of his hand. That's his second foul, and the Knicks' third team foul. Jeff Van Gundy calls his Knicks in this series an underdog with a chance. And they've certainly given themselves a chance to win on the road here today. With so much time remaining, especially with number 10 on the floor. Houston now switches off. P.J. Brown left open, and he's fouled. Cummings. Point Knick lead. A little over 5 minutes remaining. Allen Houston has turned his game around here in game 2. Shot clock down to 7. Johnson against Mourning. It's down to 2. Johnson, the runner, across the lane, gets the roll. Tough shot from Larry Johnson, who now has 22 and the lead back to 8.
Well, Alonzo Mourning struggles moving his feet against a smaller, even a little bit quicker Larry Johnson, but tough shot by Larry Johnson coming back across his body.
The Knicks coaching staff urging the defenders to get up on Hardaway. Hardaway, beautiful shot. And it's 85-79.
Well, there's that desired switch for Hardaway to get him in a one-on-one situation against Allen Houston, who has no chance of keeping Hardaway from getting into the lane unless he backs way off and dares him to take the 3.
2 of the best defensive teams in the NBA in a battle. Houston kicks it out for Johnson. Shot clock down to 6. Johnson has Hardaway on him, hesitates, and won't go. Cummings, the offensive rebound. The Knicks will get a new 24. Terry Cummings, huge spark off the bench. He's got 10 boards. 4 minutes remaining. Starks on the pull-up. John Starks nails the jumper. 21 for Starks. Knicks by 8. His longtime teammate Patrick Ewing applauding Starks, who has turned it around here in this playoff series. Jeff Van Gundy always says when Starks plays well, we're difficult to beat.
There's that tough shot by Larry Johnson against the outstretched arm of Alonzo Mourning. Somehow or other, the smaller Larry Johnson has been finding ways to get shots up. And John Starks coming off that baseline screen, able to elude the defender, and he is feeling it, talking to the crowd, letting them know John Starks back.
Under 4 minutes remaining, fourth quarter from Miami Arena. Knicks trying
his fouls. Officials keep a close eye on him, and that penetration enabled the Knicks to just get another crack at it.
Starks. We're under 2 minutes left. Knicks lead by 5. Houston, there's the double team. Childs, a three-pointer. Good. Chris Childs from downtown. And the Knicks go up by 8 with 1:52 remaining. Huge shot from Childs, who has 7 points in the game. Heat will call timeout. A wide open three. Knicks have turned it around from downtown. That's their 7th three-pointer of the afternoon.
Why he has been so quiet throughout the whole game, but in particular in what he calls winning time, he's been silent.
Childs, the feed to Cummings. Cummings fouled. Shot will go and one. And the Knicks go up by 10, their largest lead of the game with 1:15 remaining. And the fans here at Miami Arena now start heading for the exits.
Are the Knicks brimming with confidence right now? After such a disappointing performance in Game 1, they have hurt the Heat with their penetration.
Childs is going to hold it to finish this one up. A huge comeback victory for the Knicks after the disappointing loss in Game 1. And this best-of-5 series is officially tied at 1. Knicks had dropped 6 straight here at Miami Arena. It had some demons they wanted to exercise, and at least temporarily they did this afternoon.
Well, we talked about in the beginning of the game, Mike, about whether or not Allen Houston would bounce back from a subpar game. He did more than that. John Starks, who had a good, solid game coming off the bench in Game 1, had a monster today, and another strong game by Larry Johnson for New York. But an unsung hero for New York, I think, Terry Cummings doing all the dirty work against Alonzo Mourning, despite Mourning's big scoring game.
Cummings with 14 rebounds, but Houston the star for the Knicks, and he's with Paul Sunderland.
Allen Houston, so much can change in 72 or 48 hours. So much for being offensively deprived. You got some big help today from LJ and from John Starks.
Well, that's how we got to where we are now. We had a lot of balance in our scoring and our defense, and that's what got us here. We had to come out and have a great disposition, and that's what we did today.
But the disposition didn't seem to carry you through the beginning of the game. You were down 14. Why didn't you quit then after what happened on Friday?
Well, that's what happened. We got down and we didn't come back. We took that punch today and we came back.
It's going to be a lot more fun going back to New York City in the Garden now?
I think the Garden is going to be very electric.
5-game series, anything is possible. You lose on Friday, they protect the home court advantage, but now once again you got to go back there and think you have the confidence to take it with just 2 straight wins at the Garden.
Well, I think this was probably the biggest game of my career today. And I think, because you don't want to go back to the Garden.
The final 16 minutes, actually. Here's Houston. Rashawn Leonard puts a body on him, and Allen Houston goes.
And he can draw double teams.
Here's Houston. Catch and shoot. Short with a shot. Houston got position on Askins and takes it all the way. Hardaway hurries at the other end. Miami by 2. Hardaway off the 17-10. Here's Houston. That's for 3.
Well, we were waiting for the game that both Tim Hardaway and Allen Houston had big games. And so far, they both are 4 for 5 for Houston with 11 points.
Allen Houston negated by Marley in Game 1. Here's Starks off the turnover. John takes it all the way up and in.
And Jeff Van Gundy loves when John Starks' first bucket is a layup because that gives him a little confidence. Though I think after these last 2 games, his confidence is just fine.
John Starks battling a 2-month slump, had miserable effect from the field, but he came out of the slump a little bit in Game 1. Here's another turnover. At the other end, Starks. Yes! Oh, what a pass.
What a pass and what a catch. I thought he could catch catch it. I didn't think he could make it.
Miami with a 22nd. Now it's become a full. Larry Johnson gotten off to a slip. Here's Leonard. And Rashawn Leonard will go to the free throw line.
You know, I was watching.
Back to Ward. Right side, Houston. That's for three.
Riley is furious.
Van Gundy is energized.
And the crowd is back.
Could it be that it was ignited by Oakley's dive in the stands? Tim on the shot clock, Hardaway.
Oh, but a big foul.
And 3 free throws coming.
Big foul.
Now, one corner, Alonzo Mourning rotates. They kick it over to Charlie Ward. The tip is good.
I tell you what, I don't know what still on Charles Oakley when he went in the stands, but it sure made him more aggressive.
Oakley, a jumper and a tip. Way outside. Johnson, however, goes baseline and says, here.
I'm quicker, is what Larry Johnson said. That was a response to the physical play to Marty Collins.
Margin is 4. It was 14. Johnson has 16 points tonight. Rashawn Leonard. Oh, boy. What a huge shot. Rashawn Leonard, 26 points tonight. Conlon, great screen.
Another great.
9:30 to go in regulation. 76-68. Miami. Hardaway. Yes!
Boy, is he a big-time player. You knew after game 2 he was steaming because he didn't play well. He felt he let his team down.
He got the message, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Allen Houston, huge first quarter, quiet since. Childs. Hardaway defending. Childs goes over it for 2. And there are 9 minutes remaining.
Knicks still hanging around. And in this building, you got to assume at some point they'll make a run. But they're not going to make a run the way the guards are shooting right now.
Murdoch and Hardaway at the guard position right now, joined by Askins, Alonzo Mourning, and Jamal Mashburn. Houston out on Hardaway. Crossover dribble. And the shot.
No, if that goes in, he's real high.
Now Patrick Ewing can still smile in the middle of it.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway the whole time knows exactly what he's going to do here. You can see him setting up for the jump shot. He wants to get Houston back on his heels. He does. Bang.
8.5 to go, 9-point difference. Houston pops out, guarded by Keith Askins. Larry Johnson, and Mashburn guards him. Hardaway comes with a double team. Johnson back to Mills. That's for 3.
Big shot. Should have set the first one. Knew he was going to shoot the second. Of note, Keith Askins has done a fine job on Allen Houston in the second half.
Pat Riley's going to make a move for Rashawn Leonard. Here's Mourning and Oakley. And Oakley gets tagged. Eric Murdoch wound up finishing last season in Italy. Here's Childs. That's for 3.
Boy, he made a big one in game 2. They didn't appreciate what he did after he made it, but it was a big
to the rebound. Larry Johnson got 2 and he'll shoot 1.
You got him.
86-80, 3:43 to go in regulation.
Every time you think Miami puts them away, they come back. 6-point game.
Allen Houston guards Rashawn Leonard. Oakley has Mourning back in the hands of Leonard. Off the front rim. Childs will run for New York. Goes left, kicks it out. Oakley. Mourning is quickly out.
Oh, they wanted him to take it.
Childs. Oh, my goodness. Murdoch has it for Miami.
The Knicks offensively right now have no rhythm. They're not getting their sets, and they're out of control.
New York has turned it over 20 times. Miami 15. Mourning quickly over Oakley. And Houston mistimed his
Yeah, he did. Had the rebound, jumped too early. Big break.
Murdoch back to P.J. Brown. Here's Mourning again. And another miss for Alonzo Mourning.
But not facing, just what Pat Riley said, he wants him to face first before he takes a jump shot.
Mourning with that defensive play, however.
Yeah. And you don't have to score all the time if you're center. You can still play great defense. Good timeout.
Time called by Miami. Timmy Hardaway turns and jaws with the crowd before he heads to the huddle. Right side to John Starks. Allen Houston scoreless in this quarter. Almost lost it. Alonzo Mourning knocks it back.
Boy, I tell you what, turnovers, block shots, and Knicks being out of control offensively.
P.J.
No one else.
Here's Childs. Childs. And again, fine. Allen Houston steals the inbounds. Here's Mills for three. Yes!
Oh, they won't go away, though.
1:20 to go. The lead is 4. Starks picks up the foul. That's it for John Starks.
Boy, Jeff Van Gundy did not want that foul. And it was definitely a foul. You know, he's trying to get the flop there, but the bump there was where the foul was at.
And look who's leading the cheers.
Yeah, you know, I keep thinking about what Pat Riley said this afternoon when he called my hotel room, which is a story in itself. He said it's going to come down to a last shot sooner or later, and the team who makes it wins the series. This might be the game he was talking about.
Charlie Ward and Mills, Johnson, Allen Houston right side. Mills, Allen Houston, quick entry pass, Larry Johnson. On the floor. Jump ball with 5 seconds.
Well, that's the play that they wanted, going down to Larry Johnson. I'm a little surprised by that because Alonzo Mourning is guarding Larry Johnson. One thing Jeff Van Gundy might have been thinking is if he goes to the basket, will Alonzo be aggressive because of the foul trouble? But with only a minute left, he's going to be aggressive.
Fresh 24.
And here's the hand battle again. You always want to get your hand on top.
Taken by Miami.
Yeah, that jump ball was like another turnover for New York. Hard pick, but clean.
Hardaway. Eric Murdoch.
Oh, boy. Oh, my. You know what? He set him up all game. Every single time he has driven the basketball, no one ran out at him. They were waiting for him to drive. He makes the shot.
Charlie Ward for 2. Here's a steal from Houston. In and out.
Rushed it. Rushed it. See, I think the difference in the last 5 minutes, Miami has gotten the ball in the right guy's hand. Tim Hardaway drives. That's the guy they wanted, and Murdoch makes the shot. But that was a setup, Bert. It was like a setup all game. Murdoch has driven the ball every single time. No one ran out to him. They were waiting for him to drive. He took all day on that shot. That's what driving does for shooting.
Eric Murdoch said in the aftermath of the Game 1 victory in which he starred, it was the best game he'd played since high school.
Well,
may have equaled it tonight.
Yeah, though I think he played better games than that. Best game since being back in the NBA. 11 points for him tonight.
9 in the fourth quarter.
Ah, you like it.
And Allen Houston with that 8 of 9 to begin the game, 20 points. Allen Houston 27 points, but zip in the fourth quarter. Scoreless in the last 20 minutes.
They're both gravely ill with cancer. Starks was in Tulsa this morning to be at his mother's side following surgery. When she woke and saw his face, a smile came to her face, a signal that he says that she had survived surgery in good spirits. His teammates held a prayer session about 45 minutes ago, expressing their empathy and sentiments.
Jump shot. Ward stripped as he drives. Loose ball saved by Houston. Looks for Johnson. Penetrates, spins. Whoa! Alonzo Mourning is there.
Charlie Ward.
But Charlie Ward.
I've always wanted to say this. Charlie Ward with the interception.
Mashburn, no. Mourning chased down by Ward. Here comes New York. Left side kicked by Deshaun Leonard. But the Knicks deep to Larry Johnson. Marty Conlon guards him. The double from Mashburn. Chris Mills for three, and New York has a lead.
Well, so far in this game, guys who have been reluctant to shoot the basketball for New York are not hesitating, and they're shooting the ball.
First New York lead. They were up 2-0 in game 2, but that was the only lead in that ball game. Now here's Hardaway in the post. Backing Charlie Ward. Goes baseline with a scoop shot and got collegiately at the University of Texas at El Paso. Oakley. Got another one.
You know, before game 1, we can remember Pat Riley saying 2 guys bothered him offensively. Allen Houston and Charles Oakley. And for 3 games, Miami has done a nice job of shutting Charles Oakley out.
Conlon kicks it right side. Mashburn kicks it back to Conlon. Not there. Rebound. Houston. There it is.
He shot that before P.J. Brown could get there. The last time P.J. Brown was able to help, that time he shot it too quick.
Mourning with Oakley now defending. Touch last by Oakley. Oh. Charlie Ward. Oakley.
Broken right to the post.
Look out, Cummings knocked it free. Turnover number 7 on the Heat. Here's Houston on the run. Got the field goal and the foul. A couple of block shots in this one. And he will sit down, playing 16 minutes here in the first half and saying, bring it on, New York fans. Larry Johnson, 5 points in this game.
In a good game tonight, and Tim Hardaway's having a good game, but no one else really is. So now with Alonzo out, Tim Hardaway really is going to have to carry the load.
Johnson's 2 free throws shave the margin to 3.
Come up with running Tim Hardaway off the baseline.
Into PJ.
No double on PJ.
Look out!
Great play. Great strong play, PJ Brown.
A rim-rattling dunk after a textbook low-post move. PJ Brown, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and all of it done in the second quarter. Allen Houston setting an offensive foul with that screen. That's his first. Allen Houston, only 2 of 8 here in the first half. He comes middle. He scoops it up. He missed it. But LJ tipped it in. Well, we're tied for the first time since it was 13-all. The Knicks have erased Miami's 9-point lead. Murdoch got fouled by Johnson.
That's the way. Take it to the rim. Be ready to make a pass if the defense jumps at you. At that time, Murdoch got past his man, got all the way to the paint. See, Allen Houston had him on that occasion. So Murdoch just turned on the afterburners, blazed by Houston, and drew the foul from Larry Johnson.
That's the 3rd foul on Larry Johnson. So he'll come out, and Chris Mills will come back. LJ goes to the bench with 8 points tonight. A rare miss at the line for Eric Murdoch. He was 15 of 18 at the foul line in this series.
By 1, under 2 minutes to go, first half of play.
No, sir. Conlon with a rebound. Minute 45 left in the half. Leonard almost turned it over, but he recovered it. Oh, but he's flirting with big trouble on offense.
Indeed.
New York's defense has been terrific here in the second quarter. 5 on the shot clock. Murdoch driving. The runner is good.
It's a big drive. And there was no question. He was taking the ball to the
Murdoch. The lob for Houston. Set up well by Chris Childs.
Yep, good back screen for Allen Houston, too.
Murdoch driving again. John Starks decks him.
Great hang time. You could see him hanging there, waiting for the ball to come because it was deflected. Most guys would have landed and had to jump again to get that. Murdoch again with the drive. Oh, he just creates shots at times.
Murdoch, who with about...
Oh, it hung on the rim and dropped.
But again, Murdoch shoots.
Oh, that's what you do all your talking.
Just almost a straight down trajectory into the basket area.
Keith Askins in for Vashawn Leonard. Askins playing on a very sore knee. And Eric Murdoch has the Heat's last 5 points. Under a minute left in the first half. The Heat by 3. Askins defending Houston. Helping out on Childs and recovering. Starks for 3.
He got it.
We're tied at 47.
Now will the Heat try to go for 2?
Summer vacation for them. They win Game 5 Sunday between these two back in the Heat's house. Mills got fouled and he hit it.
Baseline out of bounds play. The top man curls off the bottom 2 guys, Eric. The Heat knows this like they know the back of their hand. But this time, Chris Mills, watch it. Mills with Leonard trailing him, curls off, gets the pass from out of bounds and rolls that one home with a possible 3-point play, and he's got it.
Vashawn Leonard's 3rd foul. The New York Knicks have exploded. Jumped in front of him. Hardaway turned it over.
Chris Dudley caused that turnover by jumping in the path of Tim Hardaway.
2 problems for Miami. Free throws missed and turnovers. The Knicks had 22 points off Miami's 13 turnovers. Knicks by 6. 3 minutes left in the third. 3 on the shot clock.
You got to go with it.
And a foul by Starks with no time left on the 24. John Starks picks up his 3rd, and now the Heat need to capitalize on this gift. With 2:55 to go in the third quarter, down 6, 2 shots ahead for Murdoch. Starks goes baseline, still waiting. Good defense.
Great transition.
Move by Childs. Zoe with a block. He knocked it out of bounds, but he's called for the foul. And Alonzo Mourning picks up his 4th foul with 2:37 left in the third quarter.
Take a look at it. Eric Murdoch falls down as Chris Childs gets to the rim, and Zoe, leaning over, makes the contact with Childs.
And Oakley saves it into Houston. And the Heat have gone cold. Knicks by 7. Starks. John Starks with 14. The Heat take timeout, and they're down by 9 again. And the Garden crowd up and standing, waving their rally towels, hooting and hollering here in New York.
Has to go after Starks. Starks puts the ball on the floor, 1 dribble, and shoots the open jumper. That's good team play between Houston and Starks. Starks has been a big factor in this game, Eric.
No question. 14 points off the Knicks bench. And Jack the Little bouncing off to Starks. Whoa, that got net. Now Tim Hardaway with 28 points in the game. The Knicks have 4 in double figures, led by Larry Johnson, 16. 7 on the shot clock for the Knicks. This is Mills, 2 to shoot. Oh, what a big shot.
Chris Mills, shot clock winding down, had to shoot it, and he made it.
7 points, actually 8 for Chris Mills on 3 for 4. And the rebound down to Chris Childs. Heater down by 5.
Mourning wants the ball.
Leonard unloads. And Vashawn Leonard, he was on fire through 2 games, and he can't make one tonight. Dudley and Mourning getting involved, but Leonard has missed 5 of his 6 shots in this game. Mourning with 7 to shoot, bumping with Dudley. Dudley just pushing and shoving everywhere. And Dudley called for his first foul. Zoa's
Houston, and they've got him. Clear the side for him to the Knicks.
Houston only 13 points tonight. Childs a long 3.
Oh, that's a big one. That is a big one. P.J. Brown came out and double-teamed Houston, got the ball out of his hands. But Childs dressed up the three-pointer. Knicks by 8.
That was a big bucket for Chris Childs. Childs has 9 points off the Knicks bench, and another foul on Chris Dudley. Now, with every point the Knicks score now, this crowd will get louder and louder. And Heat fans back in South Florida, if there is a Game 5, well, you'd want to create the same environment back in the Heat's house Sunday afternoon. This is a great home court edge for New York. Back to Zoe against Dudley. Good defense that time.
Excellent defense. Zoe tried to pump fake and step under. Dudley never went for it.
Just the 3rd missed shot tonight for Mourning. He's 8 of 11. But the Heat can't afford many misses right now. Down 8 with under 8 minutes left. Johnson, middle. Childs driving, missing, and Mourning reaching back to grab the rebound. His 5th. Murdoch on the drive and an offensive foul on P.J. Brown. His 5th. Houston turns and hits.
Big play, Allen Houston. Drew the double team. Nick smartly got the ball back to him after he threw it out. Turned and shot the baseline jumper.
He has 15. And inside, we get another whistle. And this will go against Allen Houston, his 3rd, and the Knicks' 4th team foul. Jack, the offense for the Heat has not been balanced. Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway have 47 of the 68 points. They've combined to shoot 64%. The rest of the Heat have missed 20 of their 26 shots.
Well, you'd love to have balance, but you take what you get, Eric, and try and find a way to win.
7 minutes to play, 4th quarter, Game 4. Hardaway with 28. 21 of them in the first half. Again, Zoe versus Dudley. Nice fake. Zoe hits the hook.
Gets it.
So Alonzo Mourning now has 21 points on 9 for 12 shooting, and the Heat trail by 8.
Well, the Heat can't just change field goals with these New York Knicks.
LJ alone. And the 3 trickles off. Dudley missed the tip.
Can't swap field goals. The Heat need stops. They just got one. Now they need a score. Middle and baseline zone.
Oh, Dudley fouled him again. Push and shove. Hit the... Oh, he missed the hook, but Dudley again committing the foul. Now, one good thing is going to come out of this. The Knicks are now over the limit, so free throw shooting could be huge again over the final 6 minutes.
There's that one straight arm on Dudley. See, that is so much a foul, and it's got to be called.
Dudley committed about 3 fouls on that possession. And Alonzo Mourning, who made 2 in a row a moment ago, will try to do it again. Dudley, do right. but not that time. The Heat are 16 for 25 at the foul line. Alonzo Mourning, 7 points here in the fourth quarter, 22 for the game. Miami's down by 7. 6 minutes left. Starks for 3. He has been big for New York. 17 points, a couple of triples. The number 2 all-time playoff three-point hitter. And he's hit some big ones. Hardaway tried to answer back with a 3, but could not. The Knicks by 10. 5:38 left in the game. Starks again for 3. And P.J. Brown for his 9th rebound. Well, the Heat need it. They need it now. P.J. backdoor from Murdoch. He lays
terrific play. Great pass, P.J. Nice recognition by Vashawn Leonard. Backdoor cut Murdoch for the field goal. Now the stops, Eric. Heat still trail by 8.
9 points for Murdoch. You're right. It cannot be a swap shop here at Madison Square Garden. It's got to be a stop shop for Miami. They need stops. 7 to shoot. Dudley. And P.J. Brown commits the foul. P.J. Brown is done. He's fouled out. The bad news, P.J. Brown is out, fouls out with 6 points and 9 rebounds. The good news for the Heat, not for Spike Lee, is that Chris Dudley is a poor free throw shooter. 45% for the year, 46% in his career. And these are his first foul shots tonight. Dudley with 3 points in this series.
Must be something magnetic.
Should we launch an investigation?
Chris Dudley couldn't help but smile. That ball hit the extreme right side of the rim and somehow bounced around and down. That's a better shot, but it misses everything.
You need insurance if you're a rebounder under that. They could ricochet and hurt you. Well, the Heat are down by 9, 4:40 to play.
Hardaway wants it at the post.
Hardaway hasn't scored in the fourth quarter. Zoe, he keeps on scoring. Alonzo Mourning has 9 fourth quarter points and 24 in the game. It's a 7-point game now.
Run Allen Houston off Dudley's screen. Try and get him at the post.
Backdoor for Houston. He got fouled by Murdoch. And after the original foul was called, Mourning flattened Houston. So Eric for 7 with his shooting tonight. Leonard 1 for 6. Dudley knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, and Zoe signals Eric Murdoch put a little pop on that pass, which is exactly right.
Childs and a foul on Mourning. Alonzo Mourning has picked up his 5th foul with 3:06 left here in the fourth quarter of Game 4. And more importantly, at this very moment, Chris Childs will shoot 2 with the Knicks leading it. Alonzo Mourning playing with 5. Hardaway got free for the jumper. He hit it again. 5 straight points for Tim Hardaway. 33 in the game, and it's a 3-point game.
Whoa, Tim Hardaway, what more can you say? This guy is a big shot player.
His second game over 30 points in this series. Houston Dudley, no. Mashburn with a rebound in traffic. And the Heat have the ball down by 3. Oh, you gotta love a finish like this one.
High screen and roll for Hardaway with Mashburn.
Nash hesitated, now drives, throws it up, missed it. Now the Heat must have a stop now, under a minute left. LJ, back to Houston. And a timeout to Miami. 88-83, New York. And Mashburn, who took a big shot and missed it, has struck. Terrific pass by Larry Johnson. Well, the Heat down 5 with the ball, 50 seconds left. Miami is all out of timeouts.
This has to be quick.
Hardaway bumped. Leonard looking for Zoe. Turns, ducks in, and
12,
he did it.
It's academic. Now, all they need is tough defense, make the Knicks work, try for a steal.
Now it comes down to the final 2 possessions of Game 4. In essence, that's the way it ought to be.
Clearing the side for Allen Houston, double team on him.
6 to shoot. LJ against Mourning. He missed, and he got it back in a loose ball foul on Tim Hardaway. Well, Jack, one of the keys for New York all through this series, their presence on the offensive board, how frustrating and agonizing for the Heat. They came up with a stop, but they could not get the rebound.
Well, Larry Johnson gets one right in the basket area, jumps into Alonzo Mourning, and you saw Tim Hardaway with the elbow in the back of Johnson. Big free throws right here.
Larry Johnson, 17 points, 7 of 8 from the line, and Ewing's wrist not too sore to applaud. 15 seconds left, New York by 4, and I don't know how you get this done if he makes this one. You'd need a 3 and a steal and a quick score.
You need the quickest score you can get, Eric. However you get it, whether it's 2 or 3.
He got him.
Gets it.
Made them both. They're standing and cheering here in New York. Hardaway, tough 3. Nope. We're going to have Game 5 on Sunday in New York, and Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson fisticuffs as the game ends. And Jeff Van Gundy is hanging on to the leg of Alonzo Mourning. I have never seen such a bizarre sight. What a shameful and regrettable way for Game 4 to end. There's been bad blood between Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning for a long time. And that bad blood just simmered over the top. There's still 1.4 seconds left in this game that has just taken a turn for the bizarre. Everything you'd hope to avoid as a game would end just took place. And you wonder if there will be ramifications for Game 5. And wouldn't that be a cruel twist of irony? You remember the Knicks suspensions in Game 6 and 7 of last year's series that was won by Miami. Now you begin to wonder, will there be suspensions for Game 5 of this series? And we'll sort it out when we take a look at the replays. Jeff Van Gundy took the craziest ride of his life. He was riding the leg of Alonzo Mourning in the middle of all that. Mourning has made his way into the Heat dressing room. Jeff Van Gundy, you can feel his heart palpitating from here.
The coach's responsibility, Eric, is to keep order if he can. So the coach can go on the floor, and Van Gundy did not hesitate an inch. He got out as soon as he saw tempers starting to fray.
Yeah, we're waiting for a second look, and here we have it on what happened.
Well, there's the play.
And there's Alonzo Mourning up the top of your screen, Jack.
Right. Zoe over in that area. And it looked as...
Larry Johnson pushed him from behind. Oh, my.
That's bad, Eric.
Larry Johnson ejected as well. Jack, I don't want to put you on the spot, but might we see LJ and Alonzo suspended for Game 5 because of that?
It's very possible, Eric. The rule is that if you get into a swinging situation, you're out and you're suspended a game. That's the rule.
And nobody landed a punch. That might be the costliest fist fight where nobody connected in the NBA playoffs. Well, the Garden is stirring. A bad feeling has come over for the Heat because a loss in Game 4 is not tragic, but losing Alonzo Mourning for Game 5 would be a major setback for Miami, even though the Knicks might be faced with the possibility of losing one of their key men in Larry Johnson. Well, a series that keeps getting stranger, more intense, and more dislike between these two clubs. It's over. Game 4 is history. Well, the team that scores 90 has won in every game in this best of 5 that will come down to Sunday afternoon in Miami. And we'll have a post-game show for you. It will be brief. We will have a ticket announcement for Game 5 on Sunday when we return to New York. But the Knicks win it. They hold on and defeat the Heat to even this best of 5 at 2 games apiece. And your final score is 90-85 New York.
On Friday, Stark spoke with Peter Vesey.
John, you've always been very protective of your privacy, so I was kind of surprised that you opened up recently and talked about how the illness of your grandmother and your mother has really brought you down.
I think when you hold things in, like I have been holding it in for so long, it tends to affect you mentally. And I just needed to open up and get it out in the open, and which I did, and it helped relieve some of the pressure that was building up inside of me.
Did the fact that your grandmother's been sick now since last summer and your mother's illness, has that taken some of the passion out of the game for you?
Early on it did. When I was going through that 2 months, I did. I really didn't, put all my heart into, preparing myself, come out and play. And it took a toll on myself as well as this team.
What was the advice that your mother and your grandmother gave you when you went down to visit them in Tulsa?
I just needed to see the smile on their faces. And, like I said, they're two very strong women. And that's where I get a lot of my strength from. And, they just told me to come out and just play. Don't worry about us. We're going to be okay. Just go out there and play basketball and, make us proud that way.
You ever play the game? No, okay. You don't understand the level of intensity?
Help us to understand what the playoff intensity is that two grown men would start swinging on each other in a game that was already decided with 1.4 seconds left.
Well, when you're doing a lot of banging and pushing down there under the boards and, tempers started to flare. And I think it just culminated from the start of the series to this point. And I guess, Alonzo kind of lost it and started swinging, and, Larry just protecting himself. So he apologized to the team today, for his actions, and, that's just being a leader. He knew he made a mistake.
This is a Knicks club playing without the suspended Larry Johnson and John Starks, two suspended Knicks players, watching this game in their hotel room.
When you were in the Grand Bay last year during the 7th game, Grand Bay Hotel, what were you and Larry Johnson doing? What were you saying to each other?
I can remember watching the game, and it didn't hit me right away, and I was just cheering for my teammates. And by the time the second quarter had started to close down, I was like, it just hit me. I'm not there. I'm not there with Patrick. I'm not there with Oak and some of the guys that I've been a part of for so many years here in New York, because we always been together and deciding games.
All the practices, all the battles, and it comes down to just one basketball game.
John, it always seems that your performance determines whether the Knicks are going to win or lose. Do you like that pressure on yourself?
Oh, I love it. I love it, and you should love it as a player. It's no different than Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I went in there feeling like all the pressure was on me to go out there and perform, and now I know how to deal with it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to come up big on Sunday.
In the Knicks' 2 wins in this series, John Starks has averaged 21 points with 6 3-pointers. In their 2 losses, only 10 points, no 3-pointers. What do you expect from him today, Peter?
Well, John Starks has the well-earned reputation of being able to win the game for either sides if he plays long enough. The scary part is that John Starks doesn't know which John Starks is going to show up, the one who's totally out of control or the one who can't be controlled by the opponent until right before the game.
What about when you're going through something like he's going through with his family situation, John? How can that affect your play?
Well, as a player, sometimes when you got the flu or you got an injury, you overcompensate for it. But I know he's sitting back thinking about his mother and his grandmother saying what they're going through is much more pressure than I'm going through as a basketball player. How hard is it to put the ball in the basket, to grab a rebound, to make an assist? So he's using them as motivation.
Well, he's really picked it up in this series. He's shooting 50%, the best shooter on the Knicks squad thus far. We're closing in on the tip-off of the Knicks and the Heat from Miami. The winner plays the Indiana Pacers. Then it's out to you. Messages from you.
Last year, it was the Knicks who lost Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. They hope to turn it around. For the Heat, they'll have to go without one of their rounded. Allen can take you off the dribble, and he can post you up. And now he's called on to create for his teammates. This drawn kick to Chris Childs, a monster play in Game 2. Solid numbers for Allen Houston, scoring over 21 a game and getting to the foul line 7 times a game. And for the Knicks to advance, Allen Houston is going to have to produce in a big way, especially in the fourth quarter. Houston told us today he'll try and have the best game of his life. Right now, let's send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Well, Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy have had a teacher-pupil type of relationship. Well, maybe not anymore. It's been significantly frayed over the past 24 hours as Pat Riley has lashed out at Jeff Van Gundy personally. He said he didn't like Van Gundy's behavior or his comments regarding Alonzo Mourning. Didn't like his actions before or during after the fight. Pat Riley went on to say that maybe our friendship isn't as important as the game, that transcends the game, and winning is the much more important thing. But we asked Jeff Van Gundy for his comments regarding Riley, and Van Gundy is taking the high road. He said, I've had 4 great years with Pat Riley. I learned a lot from him. Nothing will change my memory of that. So maybe, Mike, this is one instance where the teacher ought to be following the example of the pupil who's handling it much more maturely. Mike?
Just another subplot in the most heated rivalry in the... We'll get a start today.
Very much. I'm standing here with the officiating crew. The problem is with the horn itself. It's the volume of the horn. And
we spoke earlier, Matt. John Starks, so important for the Knicks' success. He's had a couple of terrific games in the series. They certainly need him to come up big today.
You know, Mike, in most cases, coaches don't like to take players out of their
certainly speculation about Ewing and the injury, but it's obvious the doctor's feeling that it's still career-threatening. If he got hit again and hurt it, it could really be career-threatening in Ewing.
On early is Allen Houston against Jamal Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn has been almost totally ineffective at the offensive end and struggled. Again, he also torched P.J. Brown. It could be a tough cover for Allen Houston. Not known for trading, will be a tough job. He'll need plenty of help from his teammates.
How often do you see during the course of a season when a player, a key player, is either injured or in this case suspended? Who are the surprising emerging stars? As you see, never in the Eastern Conference has a 7 seed beaten a 2 seed. 3 times it's happened in the West. Tim Hardaway was on 2 of those 3 teams, victorious with Golden State. Our officiating crew, Hugh Hollins, Steve Javi, and Jim Clark, 49 years of experience between the 3, so a veteran crew on hand for a tough Game 5. Ward, of course, starts on Hardaway. Hardaway flips it up, hangs on, and Terry Cummings with a rebound.
Right away to the isolation to see if a double team was coming, but Tim Hardaway didn't even wait, slipped on his way to the basket.
Jeff Van Gundy talking about offense. His guards have to penetrate and drive. And to start off the game, Ward misses a three. Caldwell the rebound.
And right away, the frown on the face of Jeff Van Gundy, not really wanting that shot. They don't mind a three-pointer if there's some penetration first or a pass inside.
Mashburn rushed it. Cummings quick outlet starts. Allen Houston against Hardaway, flips it up too hard. P.J. Brown the rebound. Hardaway the penetration. Ward knocked it away, and Oakley diving on it. And we'll have a jump ball. Not a surprise to see in a game of this magnitude, perhaps a little jitters early on.
Well, both teams coming into the mindset they want to get out in transition, try to get some easy baskets, mainly because the key players out, Alonzo Mourning, who they normally throw the ball to in the post, that's Miami, and New York's low post threat, Larry Johnson. So a lot of the set offense has gone by the boards. So if you're going to go with a guard-oriented team, you want to get out and go attack the basket and also see if you can get to the foul line.
They're trying to figure out who should be jumping. One official saying it's Ward and Hardaway. Oakley said, no, I had my hands on the ball, and it should be Oakley and Hardaway. So a disagreement between the officials. Oakley's going to back out, and Ward will jump with Hardaway. And Charlie Ward, who's got excellent jumping ability, able to win the tip.
I don't think Charles Oakley wanted to get in there all that much anyway. He doesn't want to put his jumping ability or lack thereof on display.
Mashburn starts the game on Allen Houston. Houston misses his second shot. Fight for the rebound, Leonard. Leonard starting the game on Starks. Cummings coming up, knocks it away. Starks comes away with the ball. And John Starks with the first 2 points of the game. Took 90 seconds, but finally somebody's on the board.
Aggressive defense by the Knicks against the pick-and-roll situation. Blitzing, something they've gotten away from throughout this season, coming with it early here.
A lot of double teaming as P.J. Brown kicks it out. Hardaway on the penetration. Brown, soft jumper.
A defensive mistake that time by Charlie Ward, overreacting, overcommitting on Tim Hardaway, opening up that drive through the lane where Hardaway can create for a guy like P.J. Brown, who they're normally not going to run any kind of play for.
Brown has been very quiet in the series offensively. He said he's going to look to score. Starks nails a three. And that's certainly a good sign for the Knicks when Starks hits his first. He has shot 50% from the field in the series.
I was talking earlier about you don't like to take John Starks out of his comfortable role coming off the bench, but these are desperate situations for the Knicks. They need scoring. They need big minutes from Starks.
Hardaway misses the three. Oakley grabs the board. Both teams have come out, as expected, so aggressively on the defensive end. Oakley, dangerous pass. Ward with the fake. A wide open Oakley knocks it down, and the Knicks off to a 7-2 lead.
And that's really the only way that Charles Oakley can get involved offensively as far as shooting the ball. He can get in on the offensive glass and get some follow-ups, but that's what Jeff Van Gundy wants from Charlie Ward and Chris Childs when he comes into the game. Penetration in the lane, break the defense down.
Poor pass from Brown. Knicks forcing turnovers. Already Miami with three. Starks another three. Brown the rebound. LaShawn Leonard off the dribble. And the Heat struggling from the field, just 1 of 5 to start.
Now the jumpers are coming fast and furious, but that's pretty much the way these two teams have to play. No real low post threats out on the floor with the exception of Tim Hardaway for Miami and maybe Allen Houston.
Charles Oakley nails his second straight. And he's got 4 points. Knicks have now found the range. They've hit 4 of their last 5 shots from the field, and Pat Riley wants to talk it over. Knicks off to a 9-2 lead, nearly 4 minutes gone by. First quarter of Game 5. Team's 9-2 start. John Starks has come out strong with 5 quick points. And the Knicks have had, throughout the series, Matt, slow starts in the first quarters of these games.
Now, Jeff Van Gundy was telling us yesterday that he watched the tape of Game 7, last year's Game 7, and that had to be a nightmare to look at again. And the Knicks just self-destructed with so many early turnovers, so he made it a point of emphasis to his team.
With the 37 points. Mashburn on Houston. That's a matchup the Heat feel they can take advantage of. But Mashburn has struggled offensively. Hardaway forces it up in a lane. Beautiful move from Tim Hardaway.
Jim Gray listening in on the Miami huddle during that break. Pat Riley getting right into Tim Hardaway saying, we need you to break the defense down. Attack. It's the only way we can get shots for the other players.
Terry Cummings. Cummings is the Heat within 5. Lob it to Houston. Houston underneath. Pretty pass from Charlie Ward. Knicks back up by 7.
Well, there's the quick hitter post-up play and the height advantage of Allen Houston over Vashawn Leonard.
First 2 points of the game for Houston. Both Hardaway and Houston starting slowly in terms of shooting. Mashburn, tough fall-away shot. Puts it in. Jamal Mashburn.
So the sight of Charles Oakley on Jamal Mashburn has picked up his confidence dramatically. 3 straight times the Heat have gone to Mashburn.
Ward with a pretty left hand. Charlie Ward. And a 7-point lead now for the Knicks. Already seen in terms of the Knicks offense, other players more aggressive looking for their shot. Mashburn, another tough fall away. Jamal Mashburn, 3 for 4 from the field, 6 quick points.
Well, it was a search early.
Knicks inbound with a new 24. Allen Houston. Houston knocks down his second field goal.
Allen Houston doing.
Both teams said that will be key today. They've got to help out in the rebounding area with some vital front court players out. Oakley, Charles Oakley finding the range. 5 on the shot clock. Charles Oakley. Oakley again. Charles Oakley. Knicks have led by as many as 12. Heat have not led. Bowie with the steal. 2-on-1 break. The pass to Houston. And the Knicks defense forcing remaining second quarter Miami Arena, the deciding game 5. 6 on the shot clock. Childs leading in. Chris Childs with a tough shot. 7 on the shot clock. Cummings has Terry Mills on him this time. Mills not known for his defense. Buck Williams takes advantage. I said Cummings. It's Buck Williams with his first field goal.
Now the Knicks have thrown the ball inside to Buck Williams on a number of occasions. That's the first time he has taken a strong, authoritative shot. Other times he's just putting on the ball on the floor, hoping for somebody to come down and double team him.
Mashburn leading in, then leading away. Tough shot won't go. Used to the rebound. The Knicks defense has been superb. Here in this first half, Heat shooting just 33% from the field.
And the Miami Heat just have nothing going on the offensive glass.
Starks knocks it down. And the Knicks their largest lead, a 15-point advantage. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the second. Murdoch trying to find an opening. Starks takes it right away. The break the other way. Houston. Allen Houston jams it in. And the Knicks go up by 17. Pat Riley wants a 20-second timeout. And this crowd is stunned. A 12-4 run by the Knicks. Sparked by their defense. They lead it 40-23.
How the Knicks defense has the Knicks getting out. They like the way it opened up the floor for Grant Hill.
Mills was 8th in the NBA in free throw shooting last season with the Pistons, but as you mentioned, between the knee injury and the change in teams and the longer three-point line, it's different this year. Starks with a 3. John Starks from way downtown, and the Knicks have a 19-point lead. Shocking numbers here in the first half. Knicks have hit 6 in a row. Eric Murdoch wide open 3. Answers back quickly.
And the Knicks will live with that. I don't think they're all that concerned with Murdoch's ability from beyond the arc in this series. The big thing they want to take away is penetration. That's where they can get broken down.
That's only Murdoch's second 3 of the series. Shot clock at 7. Childs with the spin move. Buck Williams mishandles it, gets it back. 3 on the shot clock. Childs has to put it up. Just off the rim. Mills the rebound. Knicks by 16. A little over 2 minutes remaining. And a shocking first half. Mashburn, wide open 3. Back Back-to-back threes for the Heat. And huge shots after falling back by 19.
And right away, Jeff Van Gundy wants to talk about that. That's what he's concerned about. Penetration and then the kick out for the three-pointer.
Miami on a little roll, 6-0 run. They still trail by 13, under 2 minutes left in the half. With 10 points, helping the 6-0 run. Oakley hesitating, then putting it in. Charles Oakley has really shot well. 5 of 6 from the field. He's got 10.
Mike, you know you're going well when you can still make that shot. As hot as Oakley has been from the perimeter, he shouldn't hesitate at all.
Mashburn trying to post up Bowie. Murdoch on a penetration. Tough shot, won't go, but a foul. And Murdoch goes to the line. Starks picking up the personal. That's his first.
Charles Oakley so wide open, he's almost hoping somebody will come out and put a hand up. Terry Mills finally obliges. But Charles Oakley doing a good job, not only at that end, but doing a good job defensively of covering up in the lane, helping out his guards with the Heat's penetration.
Murdoch misses the free throw. Oakley 10.7 rebounds in the solid defense. Heat now from the free throw line, 5 of 11. Knicks is a team shooting 78% in the series. The Heat just 71% from the line in the first 4 games. And struggling here today. 14-point Knick lead. A little over a minute left, opening half. Oakley, the feed to Buck Williams. Beautiful pass from Charles Oakley. And the Knicks back up by 16.
Terrific execution.
The second half. Ward underneath. Able to bank it on the reverse. Pretty pass inside. And Charlie Ward with his second field goal. Knicks up by 18.
And the reason for Mark Strickland, he's a good open court player. Get out on the break. Play above the rim. An energy kind of guy, which is what Miami needs right now.
Hardaway, just 1 of 7 in the first half. Knocking down his first shot here in the third. Strickland, by the way, has only played in 2 of the 4 games. He's only played 4 minutes in the series prior to today. Houston on a pull-up. Allen Houston knocks it down. Houston with 12.
That's a really tough cover for Jamal Mashburn, not known for his defense out on the perimeter, does not move his feet that well.
Mashburn with Houston on him down the other end. P.J. Brown left open. And Brown knocking down a shot. Brown with 7 points, 3 of 5 from the field.
And you can see the Knicks defense breaking down there on the post-up opportunity for Mashburn against Houston. Both players should have a lot of problems guarding one another.
Cummings coming up high to set the screen for Starks. Gets by Leonard. Starks on a pull-up. John Starks once again. Starks with 13 points. We call him the X Factor before the game. When Starks plays well, the Knicks are a difficult team to beat. Hardaway the penetration. Brown again, this time with a hand in his face, and hits it again.
Well, that's something that the Knicks defense was able to do in the first half. Keep Hardaway from getting in the lane and penetrating. Charlie Ward going over committing there and opening up that lane.
Each team has hit their first 3 shots in the half. They make it 4 in a row for the Knicks as Allen Houston. Now with 14, the Knicks back up by 18.
What defense? Both teams just firing away.
Unlikely shooting numbers here in the third. Hardaway, Strickland on a follow, and Strickland with his first points of the series.
There's that active live body for Mark Strickland, third-year man out of Temple, where he played for John Chaney in what was a pretty much of a slow-down setup. His best game is in that open floor.
Mashburn knocks it away from Houston. Hardaway, beautiful feed down low, and Strickland able to put it in. And Jeff Van Gundy wants a 20-second timeout. The Heat did not score a single point in fast break opportunities in the spurt against Oakley. Mashburn, tough drive, won't go, tipped up and in by P.J. Brown. Starks, that's a 3, that's good. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 16. 16 points for John Starks.
Part of the play passed up by Allen Houston, who took his three-pointer. Starks could not wait to get his hands on the ball. The Knicks here about doing a lot of talking out on the floor.
Houston to drive, uses the right hand and puts it in. Allen Houston strong to the goal. And it's back to an 18-point lead. 16 points for Houston. Leonard trying to get on track. Starks trailing him. They kick it out for an open Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn shy. And Terry Cummings boxing out, enabling the Knicks to get the tip. The feed down low. Houston with a left hand. Beautiful pass from Charlie Ward. And the largest lead of the game for the Knicks. They're up by 20.
Just like the football quarterback that he was, looking off the defense, faking that pass, and the look to Starks outside, and then the nice pass inside to Houston.
Hardaway and Oakley with a hard foul. As Oakley just walks away, as is Brown.
Allen Houston up at the top, just too quick for Jamal Mashburn, beating him. Good help, however, by P.J. Brown. And then a transition situation, looking outside to John Starks, and that's where Vashawn Leonard looked. He was going to pop out, cover Starks, and Allen Houston doing a good job of moving without the ball, just kept running to the hole.
That pass from Ward, his 9th assist, is P.J. Brown. Another missed free throw. He's 1 of 4, and the Heat is a team 6 of 13. The last foul on Oakley, his 2nd. And you're just wondering when Tim Hardaway is just going to try and take it over. Hardaway has struggled shooting. Still just 2 of 9, but Pat Riley wanted him to distribute, and Nick just try and take it all on his own shoulders. Knicks trying to isolate Houston. Back to work, knocked away by Leonard. Excellent defense from Vashawn Leonard.
In the early part of the season, when Houston would get that ball, here's Mark Strickland getting behind the defense and nobody finding him. He's very quick, he's very active, but he shouldn't be that quick to lose total sight of him.
Poor transition defense by the Knicks. 6 points for Strickland, who's helped out here in the 3rd quarter. Cummings with the head fake. Terry Cummings knocking down his 2nd field goal.
And that shot looked good all the way for Terry Cummings, mainly because he was able to put it on the floor once, move to his left, where he's comfortable and getting into some kind of a rhythm.
Knicks shooting 56% from the field. Mashburn blocked by Ward. Mashburn gets it back, still 6 on the shot clock. Leonard, nice head fake to get Starks away, and Vashawn Leonard hits his first 3 of the game.
And Leonard had to do a tightrope job along that sideline, avoiding stepping out of bounds on a hard pass from Jamal Mashburn.
16-point Knick lead. Ward, the pass to Oakley. Charles Oakley hits another jumper. Oakley now 6 of 8 from the field, and the Knicks back up by 18.
Just about every time the Knicks run some kind of a pick-and-roll situation, the Miami Heat defense breaks down, and New York gets a good look.
Mashburn left open. Charlie Ward the rebound.
And I think it's a matter of conditioning right now, Mike. Every shot for Jamal Mashburn has come up front rim.
Hard foul on the other side. No whistle, ball knocked loose. Houston picks it up, kicks it out. Starks fakes the 3. Now puts another 3 up. Terry Cummings trying to tip it, and a loose ball foul called against the Heat. Mark Strickland will be whistled for this one. Strickland picking up his 2nd. And for the Heat, their 2nd team foul.
Hardaway trying to get around, so to speak, Charles Oakley to get to John Starks. Just hog-tied him around the neck. Both players go down hard, but no extracurriculars after that. Could they have learned?
You would only hope so. It hasn't happened in the past. Houston, tough pull-up. It's good. Allen Houston with Mashburn right in his face. And the Knicks back up by 20. Pat Riley wants timeout. 20 points for Allen Houston. 4:19 remaining 3rd quarter. A surprising score right now from Miami Arena.
Heads up. Everybody's got their heads down. You look like the game's over. Just a couple of more runs. We can get right back into this thing. Don't quit now. Mike?
Thank you, Jim. And certainly with a Tim Hardaway out there, and you're still in the 3rd quarter. That is absolutely true. But the Knicks playing exceptional ball. P.J. Brown on the reverse side. Nice move for P.J. Brown. And Brown coming alive. 14 points offensively.
But Jamal Mashburn, who had some good moments in the first half for Miami, having a nightmare here in the 3rd quarter. 0 for 5 from the field. All of his shots short and struggling defensively against Allen Houston.
Cummings a little too much English, and the Heat coming it away. Hardaway nearly knocked away, and the Knicks come up with a steal. Starks, but P.J. Brown Good helping out there. Hardaway just shoved Charlie Ward. And Jim Clark saw it. Has some words for Hardaway, who walks away. They're going to call a double foul, though, on Ward and Hardaway. Now, I just saw the Hardaway push, did not see if Ward made some contact before. So often the officials catch the second one.
And the big smile by Charlie Ward indicating that he can't believe this call. There, the shove by Tim Hardaway. I don't know how Charlie Ward gets a foul there. That's a frustration shove on the part of Tim Hardaway, who tried to penetrate and was bottled up nicely by John Starks.
Childs, who bottled up Hardaway in the first half, back in. Ward will sit down with 4 fouls. Ward with 10 assists in the game. They lob it to Strickland. Leonard with Houston on him. Vashawn Leonard, tough 3. Fight underneath. Oakley and Cummings, superb boxing out to get that rebound. An 18-point Knick lead. A little over 3 minutes remaining in the third.
Pointed out Allen Houston having a good third quarter. 10 of the 22 points for the Knicks.
Oakley misfires. Leonard the rebound. Leonard makes his move. Hardaway has it poked away. Hardaway's only taken 2 shots here in the third quarter. Starks all over him. 8 on the shot clock. Hardaway left-handed. Tip up. Won't go. Fight for the rebound. Oakley knocked away. Right to Hardaway. Hardaway on the reverse puts it in. Terrific second effort from the Miami Heat. And Hardaway with just his 3rd field goal. He's got 7 points.
It seems so unusual to see Tim Hardaway struggle on his ball handling, but it's been the persistent defense of the New York guards giving him fits.
The Knicks will call timeout. Chris Childs trying to explain to Hugh Hollins, that is, I want a timeout.
There's John Starks poking away at the ball, forcing Hardaway to his left into a very tough shot, but Miami stays with it to find.
Hardaway at 3. It's good. Tim Hardaway from downtown. And the Heat are within 13.
Everybody in this building waiting for Tim Hardaway to come up with some kind of explosion. Who knows? That might be the start.
Hardaway, one of a handful of players who can carry a team on its back. Allen Houston can't connect. Ashburn the rebound. The Heat with some bounce in their step. Hardaway, one of the top clutch players in the league right now. Makes the drive, blocked by Buck Williams. Still Heat ball with 10 on the shot clock. Looks to poke stump Oakley. Ashburn, up shot, Bowie on the foul. Came over to help out, blocked the shot, but also got a piece of the arm. Well, he's a New York product. Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. This is the closest the Heat have been in the third quarter. They've trailed by as many as 20. Houston on the spin. Tough turnaround. Allen Houston won't go down. The tip followed and taken away by Mashburn. The Heat with some momentum. Hardaway, another 3. Puts it in. Tim Hardaway from downtown. And it's a 9-point game.
And Mike, he was not that open. Chris Childs was up in his face challenging the shot, but Tim Hardaway does not need a lot of space.
Final seconds of the third. Shot clock is turned off. Houston double team. Childs a long 3. In and out. And there's the buzzer. And the Heat get themselves right back into it. They pulled to within 9. The Knicks led by 20 with just over 4 minutes remaining in the third, and Tim Hardaway awakened, and an offensive foul called on Mashburn, setting a screen on Childs. Hardaway was quiet for 2.5 quarters at only 3 points, and then erupted for 10 points in the final 4 minutes of the third.
Looked like Jamal Mashburn was set. Chris Childs knew he was in trouble. He's trying to make some contact. I think he fooled the official there.
A lot of theatrical play in this series. Houston with a jumper. Allen Houston knocks down the shot, and the Knicks back up by 11.
Set up by a good hard screen from Buck Williams.
Houston with 23. Buck Williams has played very big for the Knicks. Mashburn with the spin. Tough shot won't go, and Buck Williams, who defended him there, also gets the rebound. The help defense from Buck Williams made Mashburn alter his shot a bit. Knicks trying to get it to Houston. Murdoch's on him. Williams gets the fake. Strickland to foul, and then Buck back out. And a whistle as the play starting to get much more physical. Childs looking up at the shot clock, puts it up, in and out, won't go. Strickland the rebound. The Knicks have led from the start by as many as 20. Heat trying to make the huge comeback and keep their season alive. Murdoch the runner. P.J. Brown! What a follow! Strickland was right there as well. They're giving it to Strickland. And it's a 7-point game. Charles Oakley steps back. Leonard the rebound. The Heat with the momentum right now. Pat Riley urging him to push it up the floor. Hardaway a three. Oakley the rebound.
Well, we've seen Tim Hardaway make that shot so many times. It looks like it's a poor percentage shot. Not necessarily for him.
Childs, and he's fouled hard by P.J. Brown and just walks away. No, they call offensive foul. By correction. Childs for pushing off.
Any kind of penetration by the Miami Heat. And then P.J. Brown, Mark Strickland have been hammering the offensive glass, and they'll give the bucket to Strickland. 4 out of 5 from the field, 4 rebounds for Mark Strickland. Didn't play a minute in the first half.
And they call a foul on Childs. Once again, that's his second. Chance of let's go Heat here at Miami Arena. Knicks leading by 7, still 8.5 to play. Brown against Buck Williams. And a foul call. Murdoch quickly the other way. The tip by P.J. Brown. Brown and Strickland getting it done. And the Knicks call timeout. A standing ovation at Miami Arena. The Heat have cut it now to New Jersey. The Heat were down by 20, came back and won the game.
And the Knicks are searching for offense. Nothing has looked smooth in this fourth quarter. Only 2 points, and Allen Houston has that.
Ward back in the game for Childs. Shot clock down to 6. Starks on the drive. Pass underneath Buck Williams. And a foul. Before the shot, no, a 3-second violation. Knicks struggling offensively.
Well, one of the reasons why Buck Williams has 6 offensive rebounds in that game, you got to cheat a little bit. You got to go into that lane as much as possible to establish your position, and that time he got caught.
There you see the turnovers. Miami struggling in the first half in that department, protecting the ball in the second half. Hardaway, hop step to 3, puts it in. A 2-point game. Tim Hardaway on fire in the second half.
Set up by a very hard flare pick by P.J. Brown. Probably Tim Hardaway's best look for the afternoon.
This place is bedlam. And there's still 7 minutes to play. Ward gets it to Houston. There's the double team. Houston 7 on the shot clock, taken out, but a foul called. You can hardly hear the whistle as Jim Clark makes the call.
Tremendous pick by P.J. Brown to free up Tim Hardaway. Getting that excellent look. Allen Houston way too far behind to catch up on that rotation. This is when the Knicks need Allen Houston or John Starks to make big offensive plays.
That foul on Leonard is 5th. Ward a 3. Puts it in. Charlie Ward with a clutch shot for the Knicks. And they go back up by 5. The Heat were on a 21-3 run. Hardaway another 3. Misfires. That one Starks in his face. And a whistle as they head up the floor. Mark Strickland called for the foul. That's going to be the 14th foul on the Heat. Chance for everyone. Players and fans that like to take a deep breath and look at Tim Hardaway. Boy, he's just exploded here in the second half after being a complete non-factor in the first 2 quarters. Houston, tough fall away shot. Allen Houston And the Knicks answer right back with a quick 5-0 run.
That's why Miami does not want Houston to turn to the baseline. The double team was coming, but he just got in the air so quickly, defense couldn't react.
Hardaway, the feed to P.J. Brown, fouled hard. Starks and Oakley converging, and P.J. Brown will return to the free shot clock. Mashburn left open. Hardaway has to pass it up, and Ward with the steal. Knicks have the numbers the other way. Ward, the feed to Oakley, and Oakley puts it in, and a foul. And I believe they may have called a flagrant foul there. Hugh Hollins making the call. The basket will count.
Floored by John Starks, who really rushed out hard on Tim Hardaway deep in that right corner to take him off. That what looked like was going to be a wide open three-point shot made him change it, hang in the air, and turn the ball over.
Mashburn, the foul, his fifth. So Oakley, the basket will count. Knicks go up by 9 with 4:21 remaining. And then after the free throw, the Knicks will take the ball out of bounds as well. Oakley nails the free throw. Only one free throw on this flagrant foul because the basket was good. But the key on that call was Oakley was up in the air when Mashburn shoved him. Hugh Hollins immediately made the flagrant foul call. Knicks back up by 10. Knicks on a 13-1 run since the Heat cut it to within 2. Houston looks up at the shot clock. Knicks again try to isolate. Houston on the drive. Allen Houston flips it out to Ward. Up top, Starks. Starks a three. It's good. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 13. Timeout Miami. Excellent ball movement to set up a wide open John Starks.
And it turns in.
Starks with 19 after that three-point field goal. He's 4 of 8 from downtown, and that flagrant foul, a huge call right now. With little under 4 minutes remaining, the Knicks back up by 13. They're on a 14-3 run. And a foul away from the ball once again. Players trying to battle through screens. Hugh Hollins and Jim Clark deciding who's going to make the call. Clark says it's on John Starks. And Starks picks up his second foul. Knicks with 14 fouls.
Now, Miami does not necessarily need a barrage of three-pointers at this point, even though they're down 13. But knowing their style of play, they'll launch them anyway. They're right on their average for the series, 7 of 20 from beyond the arc.
Hardaway's 3 of 10. P.J. Brown looking to post up Buck Williams. Tough fall-away shot. And P.J. Brown knocks it down, making it 86-75. Brown now with 18 points. Under 3.5 to play. Heat looking to trap at every opportunity.
And all good free throw shooters on the floor for the Knicks right now. The only suspect, Buck Williams, but he's been shooting them well this year.
Ward, beautiful feed, and Buck Williams slams it in. Charlie Ward with another assist, his 13th of the game. Hardaway, offensive foul. P.J. Brown setting a hard screen on Starks. And the Knicks will get it back with 3:06 to play, holding on to a 13-point lead. 4 on P.J. Brown.
Well, even though Tim Hardaway has gotten away from the Knicks guards in this second half, the attention to him has been intense. Did an outstanding job in the first half, cutting down on his penetration and looking to trap him more and more, making it very difficult for Hardaway.
Buck Williams, touch pass to Oakley, can't hold on. And the Knicks with a turnover. Heat will get it back, 2:49 remaining. A 13-point Knick lead. Stark watching for screens. Now Houston picks him up on the switch. Mashburn, that's a 2. Jamal Mashburn hits the shot. 2.5 remaining. 88-77.
Oh boy, the Knicks had a 2-on-1 situation. Now they find it. And a good decision by Buck Williams, taking time off the clock, the most important thing for the Knicks at this point.
Pat Riley urging his team for the double teams. Oakley gets the feed, draws the foul. Shot won't go. Starks finding him underneath, and Charles Oakley will shoot 2 free throws. Oakley from the line in the series is a perfect 15 for 15. Hardaway the foul, his second. Oakley has not missed a free throw yet in the postseason. Still 2:13 remaining. Oakley misfires his first miss of the playoffs. He shot a career-high 85% from the line during the regular season. It's always the last thing you talk about, but free throw shooting so important.
Jeff Van Gundy was saying before the game that in Knicks losses in the past, it's always been poor free throw shooting that played a major part. He emphasized that coming in today. Now, you can emphasize it. It's another thing to put him in the hole.
Hardaway pass deflected and stolen by Houston. Knicks come the other way. Houston makes the move, and Mashburn with the hard foul. And Allen Houston will shoot free throws with 2:03 remaining. And some of the fans here at Miami Arena now get up from their seats and start to exit. Mashburn is fouled out. And the exodus begins. The Knicks with a commanding 12-point lead with just over 2 minutes remaining. Houston with a chance to add to it.
Allen Houston on the verge of becoming an all-star player. Will play with the World Championship in the World Championship tournament this coming summer with the American team. But a big mark of a player who is trying to strive for that greatness is what do they do in fourth quarters. Allen Houston has come up big in this fourth quarter.
And he's got 30 for the game. Knicks lead by 14 with 2 minutes left. Hardaway finding Strickland. The ball deflected again. Charlie Ward trying to come up with it, and it's still Heat ball as we go under the 2-minute mark. A number 7 seed has never beaten a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But the Knicks on the verge right now. Timeout. Under 2 minutes remaining. Fourth quarter. A 14-point lead for the Knicks. The Knicks would play the Indiana Pacers starting Tuesday at Market Square Arena. And with just under 2 minutes remaining and a 14-point lead, Knicks in command right now and would need a complete total collapse to drop this one back.
And the Indiana Pacers, after knocking off the Cleveland Cavaliers 3 out of 4, have to be sitting home very happy that these two teams banged away at each other for 5 games. And as far as they're concerned, trying to take a little starch out of what probably will be the New York Knicks.
The Knicks raced out to a 16-point halftime lead, went up by as many as 20 in the third. The Heat made a fantastic run. They cut it to 2 with about 7 minutes remaining, and they had all the momentum, but the Knicks answered right back. And the last thing the Knicks want right now is a foul to stop the clock and enable the Heat to score with the time not running. Allen Houston, his 4th foul. And free throws coming up for Leonard.
Allen Houston wants to kick himself on that. He knows the importance of trying to hold on, stay very close to Vashawn Leonard, but you certainly don't want to stop the clock and put anybody on the free throw line at this juncture.
But the free throw shooting has been horrible for the Miami Heat. Now 10 of 20 for the game. And Vashawn Leonard, another tough game. Leonard hits 1 of 2. The lead is 13, 1:51 remaining. Heat will go for steals, no doubt. Foul and trying to make the Knicks hit some free throws. Knicks handling the press. And will try and take some time off the clock. On the shot clock. Starks feeds Houston. 4 on the 24. Houston, the drive strip, gets it back, puts it up. Won't get the roll. Oakley trying to keep it alive, but Leonard comes out of the pack. Heat not giving up just yet. Murdoch the drive and a foul. John Starks hitting him. And Starks his 3rd. 2 more free throws coming up for the Heat with 1:19 remaining, and the Knicks leading by 13.
But the Miami Heat letting the New York Knicks take way too much time off the clock. Concerned about fouling all the good free throw shooters on the floor right now. I'm talking with Tim Hardaway yesterday. I asked him about his feelings and the rest of the club's feelings about any bitterness after the Ike Austin trade. He said, you bet. He said it would have been a major factor in this instance without Alonzo Mourning available, when Ike Austin over the last 2 years had to fill in and did very well in the absence of Alonzo Mourning. And if they had won this Game 5 to go on and play a big, tough front line of the Indiana Pacers. So that move will be debated throughout this summer.
And the Heat not fouling right away. Buck Williams underneath. And there's the foul. P.J. Brown with 1:09 remaining. An 11-point lead for the Knicks. 2 free throws coming up for Buck Williams. And as we said, it's never happened in the Eastern Conference, and only 3 times overall. Tim Hardaway and his Golden State Warriors did it once, where a 7th seed beat a 2 seed. The Heat, winners of 55 games during the regular season, won the Atlantic Division title, on the verge of a very disappointing end to their season. Buck Williams hitting the first. The Knicks able to overcome the loss of Larry Johnson and Chris Mills, suspended for today's game, but the Heat not able to overcome the loss of Alonzo Mourning. So important, especially on the defensive end. It really came to fruition how important he is defensively. Buck Williams hits a pair. What a game for Buck Williams. 11 points. Check that. 12 points and 14 rebounds for 38-year-old Buck Williams. Leonard, 3 won't go. Ward the rebound. And we're under a minute to play. The Knicks with a 13-point lead. And the Knicks just taking time off the clock. You know, Matt, you said at the top they need a big game from Allen Houston. He had 30. But they also needed a huge game from Charles Oakley, and he had 16 points and 11 rebounds. Starks three-pointer. Banks in. John Starks. Everything going right for Starks. 22 points this afternoon.
And they obviously got the big game from Starks, which people also felt was needed. But the unknown factor, and a big plus in this one, we saw it in game 2. It was Terry Cummings with his defense and his rebounding against Alonzo Mourning. And today, it was Buck Williams as the unsung hero.
Starks with the banker. It does go in, still counts as 3. As Strickland will shoot, Starks committing the foul down the other end. And Patrick Ewing still holding out hopes of playing this year. He has not been medically cleared to play yet. Knicks teams still say it's unlikely Ewing will play even in the second round, but certainly the further the Knicks go along, the more chance he has to make progress on the broken wrist. As Strickland knocking or missing the second one, and Matt Guokas certainly with this game, the Knicks able to win a game 5 on the road. Has to be so sweet with a rivalry as Oakley slams it in.
Well, obviously the goal is to survive, move on, go to the next round, but you know the Knicks will take an extra special pleasure in ending the season for the Miami Heat.
In front of their home fans here at Miami Arena, final seconds ticking down. The Knicks battling back. They were down 2-1 in this best-of-5 series, winning at the Garden in game 4, and a huge road win. The road team wins the deciding game 5 as the Knicks finish off the Miami Heat, ending Miami's season in disappointing fashion. A number of big-time players for the Knicks. Allen Houston, as we mentioned, with 30. John Starks with 22. Tim Hardaway having some words as he walks off. The Knicks gathering at center court with the usual post-game prayer. And Tim Hardaway walking back now to the Heat locker room. The frustration showing there for Hardaway. Really struggled in the first half. Child's defense huge for that. Hardaway came alive in the third quarter. Brought the Heat back from a 20-point deficit to within 2. But the Knicks answered right back. And right now, let's send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. John Starks, Allen Houston. Allen, let's start with you. 30 points. You said last year, Game 7, you were very nervous. Obviously, that wasn't the case today.
Well, you know, he was still a little nervous, but, you know, God's been with us the whole year, and he didn't leave us today. You know, we came out, we were poised, but we stayed aggressive, and I think that was a big difference.
How concerned were you when they cut the lead down to 2? You had a 20-point lead. It looked like this thing was going to get away from you.
Well, we had some good shots. We just weren't making our shots, and we knew eventually, you know, if we stayed poised, made good plays, we were going to make those shots.
Great game. Congratulations. John, let's ask you, how did you guys overcome the suspensions?
God. He carried us, like Allen said.
Got to be more than God. There were about 9 individuals out there.
He's been with us all day long, all year long, and you know, he gives us the strength to go out here and to play the way we did. You know, we know what's coming in here, you know, without Larry and Chris, and you know, but we kept our heads. You know, even though they cut the lead down, we kept our composure and we stayed with it.
The personal attacks that Jeff Van Gundy had thrown at him by Pat Riley. Did you guys talk about that, and what did that do for the team?
Jeff didn't say anything about it. He didn't say one word about it, and that's between the coaches. The players have to go out there and play the game, and I just want to say hi to my mother and my grandmother. I love you all.
We hope they're feeling better. Alan, finally, last question here. What about Indiana? You're going to have to go into that series without Larry Johnson.
Well, we're going to have to do the same thing. At least, we'll have a little bit more with Chris, but we're going to have to do the same thing. We'll have to stay poised, and, we're learning a lot by playing on the road and sticking together.
Great game, Alan.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's send it back over to Mike Green.
All right, Jim. Matt, with all the bad blood, the suspensions, how sweet is this for the Knicks?
Well, this rivalry, the hottest in the league, and all the stuff that has gone on with Pat Riley over the last 3 years. And then the game they lost down here on the disputed final second shot by Allen Houston. All of these things coming to a head. A sweet win for the New York Knicks to knock their arch rival out.
Knicks play the Pacers next. The Heat will go home. Once again, final score. The Knicks 98 and the Heat 81. Knicks win the series 3 games.
New York, baby! Heat Knicks, Game 5. The game after that fight. The matchup that still brings out what these fans hate about each other.
Look at the sun. There's not many New York fans. They don't curse at you. We can root for the Heat.
Miami fans are very, very obnoxious.
I hate the Knicks fans. Like that guy just walked by. I can't stand them.
But Heat fans looking for a win ended up looking at the famous.
It's a great game, though. Think a fight should break out to make it more rumble? Yeah, I just saw Jerry Springer come in, so you never know.
Chris's team did rock. The Knicks move on, while Heat fans can just talk about...
There's really nothing about last year. We're very disappointed last year to lose. Miami came back. Everybody, it's well documented. We shot ourselves in the foot last year, and Miami came back and played very well and deserved to win last year, and I think same thing happened this year. The better team won.
Without suspended Larry Johnson and Chris Mills, New York raced to a 20-point lead, then held its poise during a furious Heat rally that cut the lead to just 2. A decisive Game 5 victory goes to the suddenly cool and collected Knicks.
We know what type of team we have. People always write things about New York, this New York that. Now everybody wants to say, we got composed, we played well today. We just try to play basketball. Things going to happen when you play the game.
I think we all let ourselves down in some sort of way, we lost. That's a letdown in itself. So, we all got to take the hit. I'm sure a lot of us, we just have to. We got to take the hit and just go on with life.
A lot of the pressure and, a lot of the responsibility goes to Tim, and he may have felt it a little bit in the first half, but we simply didn't make the plays that we talked about or tried to make.
I'm going to go home, have me a bottle of Grand Marnier, and just chill the out.
By the time we land, we'll move on to Indiana, but this was a good win for our team. I want our team to enjoy it until we land in New York.
Now that their most bitter rival has been vanquished, the Knicks turn their attention to a certain 7-foot center who has not seen action since December 20th. For weeks, New York management has said that Patrick Ewing would not see action until at least the second round of the playoffs. Next Tuesday night in Indianapolis may be the evening Knicks fans finally see number 33 back on the court. In Miami, I'm Mark Morgan.
When it comes to streak shooters, John Starks and Vashawn Leonard are 2 of the best in the business, and here's a good way to illustrate that point. Leonard had 53 points in games 2 and 3, and then he was outscored by Starks 39-9 in the final 2 games of the series.
It doesn't really faze them, so that just comes through experience and just being through a lot together.
The one thing that we do have is a lot of heart. We're a hard-working team, and I was just proud of the guys that, they made a big run at us. And we could have folded. Charlie stepped up, made a big shot. Allen made a big shot. I'm just really proud of the guys.
They were far superior than us today, and we did not have an answer for the 2 and 3 spot. John and Allen just simply had great games.
The Knicks never let the most dangerous player on the court take over the game. Tim Hardaway, the leading scorer in this series at 27 points per game, was 1 for 7 from the field in the first half. And though he finished with 21 points, it was too little, too late.
Without Alonzo back there, we were able to really pressure Tim a little bit more and double team him a little bit. And I think that made a difference.
When he did start trying to get his offense going, our defense in the middle was pretty good, even though he made some shots. But it's hard when you got these people running at you, bumping you, hitting you the whole game, and you got to carry the load.
Did on Sunday what they've done for a combined 28 NBA seasons. Just all the little things necessary for their team to win.
The older guys will make this league go. It keeps hollering about older guys, but all the older guys in the playoff, all the young guys at home having a good time.
This is the kind of game that I've been raised on. I mean, I was raised on playoff games. I played in so many of them, and I know what to do in these kind of games. And I was very, very fortunate to get in the game tonight and contribute.
They were huge because it wasn't just the scoring. It was they were making room and creating space, and they were getting their hands on a lot of balls.
Oakley played all 48 minutes. His varied assignments for the day: keep Jamal Mashburn out of the box, set screens for Allen Houston and John Starks, box out and rebound, and score whenever you can. Did you think you were going to play 48? Was that in your mindset?
Hey, play 60. It was what would it take to win and go out there and put my body on the line, and I try to do that.
Williams had the more mundane tasks. Bang all day with 240-pounders 10 years younger than he. Wipe the glass clean and finish up strong underneath, despite not having played since the first quarter of Game 1.
The night when I first went in the game, I kind of rushed a couple up. I was expecting more to come across to block, so I said, Buck, calm down a little bit. Morning is suspended. You can take your time and make the bucket.
There are younger players that they play, a little bit and then don't play in big games. They pout, they go to the papers and say negative things, but these guys are true professionals.
The Knicks will...
Such behavior, but his words were warlike. In advance of Sunday's game, he criticized the Knicks for playing dirty and said that his former protege, Van Gundy, was out of control. Van Gundy got it together enough for the Sunday conversation, and that is with David Aldridge. He speaks of his relationship with Riley and of his brother Stan, an assistant with the Heat.
An interesting week for you, Jeff. Where do you put all of the feelings that you may have about the things that have been said, written? Where does all that go after a series like this?
Well, I don't think you ever forget stuff that's either written about you or said about you, but I think, it's my obligation to the team to just coach my team the best way I can, and try to do that, get them prepared, and now we're moving on to Indiana, and that's what we're going to prepare on.
Is there time to be hurt by this, considering that Pat Riley is a friend and that you've known him for a long time and you worked with him for a long time?
Well, I think, Coach Riley's done a lot for me. He's done a lot for my family. I have great admiration and respect for him as a coach and as a man. And if his opinions changed of me, I'm sorry about that, but my opinion about him has not changed.
Do you talk to Stan about this at all? Say, where is this guy coming from?
No, I think, Stan and I's relationship as a brother transcends basketball. I value family first, and then friends and loyalty, and then third is winning and doing my job. And so there's nothing that can come between Stan and I, particularly something as really non-essential to life as a basketball game.
Did you learn anything from what happened the other night, or would having to do it again do it the same way?
I think I don't have any regrets about going on the floor, about going to the first person I saw involved in the altercation, which was Mourning, about holding on. I do have regret about getting up, and because I had been kicked, and rightfully so, since I was, if you're out there, you got to take your hits. I was upset about that, and I wish I would just gone up and composed myself and not, fueled it with my anger then. But you don't have much time to make decisions in those situations, and again, people are going to have opinions about your actions, particularly in this job, and you have to live with that.
The matchup with Indiana coming up, what do you see as some of the keys to that series?
Dave, I haven't even been able to think about it. I know they have a great team, and I think they're well coached. I think they're driven. They beat us twice. We only played them 3 times. We beat them once. It's going to be a tough series. They have great scoring. They play terrific defense. I work with Coach Harder. We both work for Coach Riley. Coach Harder does a great job with their defense. They're a very, very unselfish team. We're just going to have to, regroup and get focused on winning, because, I said this before when we went down to, before the regular season ended. If we could get in the playoffs, I thought we were a dangerous team, and I still believe that, and I know we're going to come out and play very, very hard.
Sunday Conversation.
We would like to go in there and try to get one right away, because teams tend to be a little flat when they have that much time off, especially this time of year.
You know, the Indiana's a great team. They're a great offensive team, so we have to be ready for everything. They're probably one of the deepest teams in the league, 1 through 12, so we have to be ready for all those guys.
They've got great balance across the board, not only from a personnel standpoint, but the way they play. They're good offensively, they're good defensively.
Charlie Ward for New York. Stark spots up for 3. Yes!
See, this is exactly the type of tempo New York wants.
It down. Goes by Jackson. Kicks it outside to Starks. That's for 2. It's on the line.
Oh, boy, I tell you what. They are really, really pushing the ball up the court. This is what Larry Bird said before this series started. The only thing I worry about is the Knicks' speed. The Knicks' speed? Yes, the Knicks.
Nope. Starks has it. Almost loses it, gets it back, and takes the jumper. John Starks.
Well, I tell you what, right when that left his hand, he was already running down for it. Yep. He knew that was good. And again, the Knicks in the open court. Exactly what Indiana did not want.
Starks gives them their first double-digit lead. Reggie Miller, no. Miller gets it back and throws it away. At the other end, here's Starks. Puts it up. Jackson. Houston with the rebound, and the foul, it's goaltending.
It is so loud in this building, it's tough to hear the whistle. And here's the matchup that everybody wants to see. That's one thing Jeff Van Gundy does not want, is start scoring over the top. But they got away with it.
Now Mark Jackson again at the post-up. Waits for the double. No. That should be a 3-second call, right? Nope. Here's Chris Mills off the dribble. Terry Cummings with 2 on the shot clock, cans it.
Great ball movement by the Knicks. They are playing small ball right now, and they're doing it quite efficient, but they don't have the edge that you have to play in the playoffs.
Charlie Ward pulls up, jumps for 3.
Oh my. I mean, everybody is just pulling up on fast breaks. That's the second fast break that the Knicks have pulled up for 3-pointers and made them both.
Jackson on the bench. Here's Travis Best. Takes the shot, gets that one.
And what the Pacers have done, Vern, if you look, they're going to go small. So right now, you have to give a check to Van Gundy. He's won. He's got Smith out of the game, and he's making Indiana match up with them.
Great cut by Allen Houston. And a fine pass from Charlie Ward. Knicks on fire. It's 30-11 in the final minute of the first quarter. Houston 4 of 5 over Reggie Miller for 8 points. Here's Best. Back it goes to McKee. On the floor, that's 8.
Or they've been given up for gone a few months ago. So Patrick Ewing will play tonight for the Knicks in Game 2 against the Pacers. The last time the Pacers saw him.
Rehabilitation. Number 33 tonight will once again stake his claim on the low post.
It's totally uncharted waters here, and so if you told me we'd be here today announcing he's going to play tonight, I wouldn't have bet you anything.
He did all the right things. You know, he went through his rehab with a sense of purpose and dedication. I stayed with the team. You know, today's NBA player, when they're out for a long time, goes to a second hometown and hangs. So we were proud of him about that.
He's 100%. I mean, he's really as close as that as you can get.
What did you guys do to really test him yesterday?
I think Herb stayed over and played with him, and we went full court. We just banged him as much as possible, but he looked good.
It was really good for him because he held up pretty well. But, it'll be different tonight in that we'll be running up and down the court and everybody will be hitting him.
We'll test him. One good slap on the wrist, we'll find out if he can play.
The Knicks aren't so much concerned about rediscovering their chemistry with Ewing as they are leaning too much on their big man.
To think that he's going to come in here and be the reason we win either tonight or this series, that's a fairy tale. We're going to win because he's a piece of the puzzle. He's not the puzzle.
To be off as long as he was, you're not going to just come back and be the same player you were before. It takes some time, takes some game situations for you to get that back. But he's a veteran ball player, but I bet you any money he's having butterflies in his stomach right now.
Patrick has been the catalyst for New York throughout his whole career. So the emotions, you can understand that they're probably going to be going through is going to be off the charts.
The true test for Patrick Ewing has nothing to do with minutes or even how many hacks he can handle. The true test will come when Ewing needs to use his wrist to break a fall. My heart will be in my throat when that happens, said Dr. Scott, and it'll probably be that way the rest of the playoffs. Safe to say, the same goes for Ewing. In Indianapolis, Bonnie Bernstein, ESPN.
Patrick Ewing returns to the New York lineup for Game 2.
Pretty sure he has butterflies, because it's been so long, so we're glad to have him back.
My heart will be in my throat, and I suspect it'll be like that, for the rest of this series.
Pat been around a while. He shouldn't be nervous. He's too old for that.
It is a good story, but to think that he's going to come in here and be the reason we win.
John looks down at the three, measures it, cans it.
See, that's where I think he can really shoot. Now, we were watching him shoot one day, and I showed you, I said, when he can get his feet set and shoot, he's a great shooter. His problem is he shoots a lot of off-balance threes that he makes at times.
That three ties it up, and this is the second quarter of a very low-scoring game. Antonio Davis gets that jumper to put Indiana back on top.
And that's about a step out of his range, I thought. When he went up for that shot, I'm thinking there's no way that's going in. He's really just having himself a great series.
Pick and roll. Giles looks at Johnson. Now John Starks. 7:40 to go in the half. Starks way outside. Whoa! My goodness.
I guess he's feeling it.
I think so.
Because no one in this building thought that was a good shot.
Knicks by 1, 7:20 remaining. Here's Smits again, Jalen Rose. Underneath Antonio as well. Here's Starks, takes the jumper, gets it.
He's feeling it. He is looking for his shot. The great thing about John Starks, and I guess you can say the bad thing, he started out struggling and he kept shooting. And now he's shot his way into a zone.
31-30, Starks with 10 in the quarter. Here's Travis Best. Rick Smits. You just know he's got a stop. Chris Mills with the runner, count the basket, sent into the line. The Indiana Pacers, they're up 41-33, 2.5 to go. Here's Starks back on the floor, takes the jumper over Miller. Got it!
You know,
oh boy.
He beat me to the punch. I was just going to say, John Starks is on fire. He hasn't touched the ball in about 2 minutes.
Charlie Ward trying to find Houston. Top of the key, here's Allen Houston. Coming up and canning this.
A work of art. They both move so well. They know how to free themselves.
Cuts the margin to 6, and Rick Smits tries to turn and go. Double team comes from Charlie Ward. Now they find Miller left open in the corner. Oakley runs at him.
Reggie Miller, you can't leave Chris. A shot blocker and a rebound.
Johnson, nice spin move.
Yeah, smart. Patrick would not.
But Ewing gets in the passing lane and knocks that one away. Charlie Ward. Into the corner, Ewing. Still looking for his first field goal. Got it! And a free throw.
Boy, he took that one aggressive. Where we miss Patrick Ewing is his offense. We are not a team that can score points. We almost have to play perfect every night to win basketball games. Patrick will free up our other guys.
Ewing with a chance for a three-point play now. And the Knicks have clawed back within 4. Hitting 6 of their last 9 field goal attempts. Jackson, Dale Davis, Smits, Chris Mullen, and Reggie Miller for Indiana. Here's Reggie Miller, and Ewing is there to knock it out of bounds.
See, Patrick Ewing right now is playing a smart game. You know what he's doing? He's decided, well, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm just going to get more aggressive. I'm going to play aggressive basketball, and that's a smart decision.
Reggie Miller goes underneath, knocked out of bounds by Oakley.
That was a close call also.
Yeah. Oakley continues to insist he never touched it.
He wasn't ready.
Pacers were. They had started the offense already.
Entry pass, Dale Davis. Rick Smits from the corner.
That's what makes him such a tough guard for all the Sixers.
He's hit 5 of his last 6 after that time he spent in the desert. Underneath, Larry Johnson. Nice pass.
That was a great, his head away from the ball. Always have to see the basketball.
Charlie Ward with 7 assists tonight. And the lead is 4 for Indiana, 57-53. Oakley has Mullen. Mullen in the lane. Oakley has the rebound, and here comes New York. Charlie Ward pulls up, finds Patrick Ewing.
And they're looking for the big fella now. One problem he has not had, and that's running the floor.
In the corner, Mullen measures Oakley, decides to take the shot. No. Ewing rebound. And the Knicks, who trailed by 7 at the half, have a chance to tie. Oakley in and out.
That's the shot they want. They'll take that open shot from Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing in this third quarter has been dominant.
Jackson tries to take Charlie Ward. Back to Smith's, top of the key. And Johnson gets it for New York. Ewing at the other end, but they were a little late getting down there. Back it goes to Ward. Here's Larry Johnson. He takes the 3. Got it!
Well, he took his time. I can tell you that. The Pacers were in no rush to challenge that shot.
10 in the quarter. 4 of 4 from the field for Johnson, and New York up by 1, 58-57. Mullen, that's for 2. Dale Davis back to Mullen. They'll try it again. Give him a second chance. Bingo.
That was awful defense.
Yes.
I mean, that was awful. Both shots. 2 players watch Chris Mullen take a shot. You don't want Chris Mullen taking a shot. He looked over at us, over here at me just now, Bert, and started laughing like, they're going to let me shoot? I think he took that personally.
Charlie Ward in the lane. Smith has it go off his hands, out of bounds.
Yeah. Chris Mullen never came out and said, go ahead and shoot it. He made it.
John Starks for Johnson now for New York. Here's Allen Houston in the corner. And Derek McKee has come on to defend Allen Houston. Starks back to Ward. Nice penetration, and the dish to Oakley for 2.
Boy, those.
John Starks urging patience from Charles Oakley.
Well, it's communication, Vern. You got to have communication on the
PA on TNT. The pass, Antonio Davis on the floor for the Knicks as we start the fourth quarter. Chris Childs, Johnson and Houston, Oakley, and Starks. Starks guarded by Miller. Post-up play for Larry Johnson. Nice.
I tell you, he is great post moves. He's 5 for 5 in this half.
And the margin is 1. Here's Jalen Rose, who's been a quiet presence tonight. Hasn't played much, as a matter of fact. One of the stars with Travis Best in the victory on Tuesday. Loose ball underneath, on the floor, and picked up by Oakley.
You look at this game again, Vern, it's the difference. Indiana got all the loose balls in game 1.
Houston, offensive foul.
That's a definite. Smart.
Travis Best guarded by Chris Childs. Oh, boy. Antonio Davis laid Childs out.
And Childs gets the foul.
Yes.
Oh, my. Is that a tough way to earn a foul? And it's not Chris Childs' fault. It's the guy guarding Antonio Davis. He has to call that.
This one in and out, and Starks goes up on the trampoline. Indiana, here's Starks.
Communication. You could see Best and Rose pointing at each other, but neither one of them ever picked up Starks.
New York leads by 1. Travis Best, Jalen Rose, Antonio Davis, Miller, and McKee. Larry
game when teams start hating each other.
4th team foul already on New York. None on Indiana. McKee got it. Pacers by 1. That is the 10th lead change of the ball game. Jalen Rose guarding Allen Houston. Kicks it out in the corner. Childs, 3-pointer. Rebound. Oakley. Larry Johnson. Rebound. Starks at the bench to run to the rebound. They trail by 7. Starks takes the 3. Got it!
Oh, my.
4 minutes remaining. Houston, that quiets the crowd.
Wow.
Starks drives. Beautiful play.
Oh, great play. No one wanted to leave Allen.
Chris Giles as Ewing calls for it. 5 on the shot clock. Allen, Houston, the dish to Ewing.
Pass.
The Knicks, the Pacers, Madison Square Garden. And to top it off, today with his team down 0-2, Patrick Ewing makes his return to the Garden floor. Game 3 next.
Today, it's the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks.
Down 0-2, the Knicks at least return home. Game 3 today, Game 4 and a quick turnaround tomorrow. And for the first time since shortly before Christmas, Patrick Ewing will play before the home fans. There were some high points and also some disappointments in his return. Played at Market Square Arena in Game 2 of this series, a loss to the Pacers. But as the Knicks enter this third game and as we greet you...
Finds the open man. You see right here he finds Larry Johnson on the little give and go. Then he finds the penetration and the open layup here for Charles Oakley. I think they need a...
The PA announcer at Madison Square Garden is Mike Walzeski. Here he is with the starting lineups.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Today's Eastern Conference semifinal game features the Indiana Pacers and your New York Knicks. The head coach of the Pacers is Larry Bird. Now for the Pacers starting lineup. At guard at 6'3" from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. At guard at 6'7" from UCLA, number 31, Reggie Miller. At forward at 6'7" from St. John's, number 17, Chris Mullen. At forward at 6'11" from Clemson, number 32, Dale Davis. And at center at 7'4" from Marist, number 45, Rick Spitz. For your New York Knicks, the head coach is Jeff Van Gundy. Taxi!
Get me to the Garden.
And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. And guard at 6'6" from Tennessee, number 20, Allen Houston. At guard at 6'2" from Florida State, number 21, Charlie Ward. At forward at 6'7" from UNLV, number 2, co-captain Larry Johnson. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing.
The heroes away. And the clouds will cheer when they see my fear. The voice keeps saying, this is where I'm meant to be. I'll be there someday.
Here's a look at what the fans here at the Garden are seeing up on the Jumbotron, a piece of video for guard, but missed that one. Patrick has room, and he has his first basket.
That's the kind of shot that...
Houston's pass finds Ewing. Starks firing after the timeout, and his three. Houston, quick catch and shoot. Allen comes sprinting out of the pack. Accelerates on Rose. Throws it up on the run and hits it.
Jalen Rose had to honor the three-point look by John Starks. Starks pulled up at the three, faked it, and drove right by him and was able to get to the baseline for the easy floater.
It's a 4-point game. And the Pacers throw. Childs around Best to the hole, lays it in. Suddenly the Pacers up by only 2. Best in trouble, gets rid of it to McKee. 5 seconds to shoot. Starks on Rose, beats the buzzer. He was fouled and the basket falls. Oh man, that's a tough pill to swallow for New York. They almost had them to the 24-second violation. Rose hits a nearly impossible shot and draws the foul, which not only means potentially 3 points, but it slows New York's building momentum. Rose ends a 9-0 New York run with the 3-point play.
And talking to Larry Bird, every time he talks about Jalen Rose, he smiles. He loves how competitive he is.
Starks got rid of it to Johnson. Great look by Starks, who had the shot closed off, but had the presence of mind to find a teammate.
But you notice they're not playing east-west now. They're playing north-south. They're getting things going to the basket, causing Indiana to collapse and give help.
Rose into the lane. Larry Bird's bench, one of the deepest and most effective in the league. It's been that way all year long.
Doug, they've been successful in taking Jackson out of this series, but another problem popped up in Jalen Rose.
Johnson finds Cummings.
See, I think what Van Gundy has done in playing Terry Cummings as opposed to Chris Dudley has given them more offensive looks.
Smits doubled. Hold on, says Bill Oakes. New York in an impressive stretch here with Ewing on the bench, and that is meant in no way to disparage Patrick. His persistence in trying to come back is something everyone has to admire, and he has something to contribute here. But they have gone on a run with him as a spectator.
I think it's very hard for Larry Johnson and Patrick to play together. They both demand that low block.
Mills got it. Johnson in the paint. Ewing open. Patrick hit it. Smits ran at him, but too late.
Inside, outside. The offense is going inside, outside.
Had a tendency to only look at
Houston.
You have a tendency to only look at
Smits into Davis, but Davis tries to shoot. Mills hits the double pump. Thinks Houston bumped him, and he may be right. Meanwhile, Houston sprints back and gets the slam on what Reggie thinks is a 5-point turnaround that wasn't justified. If, in fact, he was fouled, he would have had 3 free throws coming, and the transition basket never would have resulted.
But you can't stop playing, Bob. You got to keep playing.
See, I thought there was great defense by Allen Houston and good recognition to run out when he knew Reggie Miller was fighting and arguing.
Childs falls. Jackson spins to the hoop. 15 seconds now for the Knicks, who lead it by 7.
See, if I'm Allen Houston right now, hold on to the basketball and take the last shot. Try to get some penetration and get a foul.
But he loses it. Mullen now leading Miller. and Mills lets him have a little trouble with the ball. Starks gets the shot off and hits it, and in recognition, it's Patrick. Got it!
Tough shot, and a big shot because they really needed it at that time. Van Gundy called the play in the huddle. They came out and they executed it to perfection.
Cutting their deficit to 6. Jackson against Childs with that little hook that's short. Loose ball, clutched by Houston.
Now Jackson has to be careful here that he doesn't take everyone else out of the game trying to look for his own offense.
I think that's a great point, Isaiah. Sometimes you get preoccupied.
Johnson.
See the presence of Patrick Ewing inside, makes a shot, draws it, put it into the post.
Patrick on the run, hits another one.
He's feeling it now. You can tell by his bounce, his rhythm, his momentum has shifted, and he's feeling very confident, and he's being guarded by a smaller McKee, and he feels like he can do anything he wants inside the post.
16 for Ewing in his second game back. Good pass to Miller from Best.
Ewing came over to help.
And more with Patrick Ewing. This time it's for Larry Johnson.
Inside 30 seconds. It's Johnson, who has to give it up to Starks, who can't nail the 3.
Now see, as a point guard, your big fella just scored 2 baskets. It's playing well for you. You got to put it back in his hands. You don't go to Larry Johnson right there.
Best pounds it into the floor. They run the clock down, awaiting the last shot. It's Best to the hoop, and his pass is intercepted. They never get one off. The Knicks, who led by 5 at the half, then fell behind, closed to within 4 after 3. The basket. Starks hits the first shot of the 4th.
That was well executed. A double screen with Starks coming off on the weak side, and brutal pick set there by Terry Cummings and Larry Johnson.
Derek McKee left alone from 20. Line drive shot is short, and an Indiana foul off the rebound.
See, you look, now you got to put it back into him and let him see if he can make a shot.
In this case, he passes it off to Cummings, who gets a lucky roll and ties the game.
So you got to keep going to Starks right now because he's drawing so much attention.
A new game and 10:40 to decide it. McKee on the drive. Antonio Davis back out to Best, and Starks fires and hits.
John Starks reminds me of a guy I played with, World B. Free. Missed 11 in a row and swear he's hot. Can't wait to get the next one.
Yeah, his mentality is such, you got to keep him involved. And back to Patrick Ewing, Doug. See, now when Patrick comes back, you wonder if he's still in his rhythm. He had a nice rhythm going. I think the rhythm is more important than the rest for him.
Offensive foul as Jalen Rose throws the elbow. After the 3 by Starks, the Knicks are within 1, and now they have the ball back.
Do you know how hard this shot is? Watch John Starks. He catches this ball, drives it, pulls back, and shoots it. That is an unbelievably difficult shot.
And Starks has a dozen.
Put it back in his hands and ride him.
They go that high screen and roll.
McKee poking at it, can't get it away from Starks. Mills, cross court to Childs. Chris Childs, whistle before the release. 3-second violation, negating the basket.
Chris Childs has got to jump up and shoot that ball rather than to try to dribble penetrate. He had 2 guys waiting for the offensive rebounds, and he got them a violation because he didn't take the shot that presented itself.
Here is Best. Johnson on McKee. 4 seconds to shoot. McKee with a force. No. Cummings finally has it. Again, the Knicks can reclaim the lead. Johnson on the run, swatted away, a foul. The Knicks think it should be goaltending on top of it. They don't get it, though.
See, Johnson catches McKee off balance, and he's able to wheel. And Davis, I think that's a good block. I think the official made the right call. He catches it right on the way up. It's right there. That's a good block. When you look at Davis, he has the ability to jump really high.
The foul is on McKee, his fourth. Sometimes when you're injured and maybe half a step slow, you tend to foul more. You get beaten, you reach in. And McKee goes out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob, but Derek McKee has not been himself today. You saw it in the last possession offensively where he tried to make a play.
If an injured player is out on the floor, you as an offensive player, in your mind, you're thinking, every time I get the basketball, I'm going to take him until the coach takes him out of the game.
Johnson gives New York the lead. Rose to the front court. Jackson back in along with Miller, and Rose with what could be called, if this were tennis, an unforced error at a bad time.
Jalen Rose has got to be careful now. 2 times in a row he's tried to do a little bit too much with the basketball. Isaiah, I think he needs to get foul line and under, come out, catch the ball, and then make his play rather than try to take it length to the floor.
Childs playing important minutes. Really redeeming himself here in Game 3. Here is Starks, bumped by Miller.
You know, not to defend Charlie Ward in any way, but I think that the group that Charlie Ward played today was not a good group. It was not going to be a team that would bring out the best in each other. Chris Childs has been very fortunate. The team that he's played with today has played very well, and he's been the leader of that group, so you got to give him a lot of credit.
See again.
And Cummings with contact on Miller, a Knick foul.
Reggie Miller, when he feels the contact, he throws his body in such a way that the official thinks that he'll chase him off.
But he puts up a neon sign. He throws his arm out there like that. When you do that, you're calling attention like, I just fouled.
Billy Crystal's at courtside. He's awarding Reggie Miller an Academy Award. Here's Rose, knocked away.
When will Patrick Ewing be back, and how long will it take for him to get warmed back up again?
See, I thought when they had Derek McKee in the game, Patrick Ewing should have been in, and they could have kept going to him. Now when he comes back, he's going to be guarded by a Smith or a Davis.
Rose, in and out. And a rebounding foul. It's on Smits, I think. And that
goes to the bench. He gets a welcome return from his teammates.
Doug, I think Childs has been so concerned about his defense that his offense has lacked. But today he's been able to put together both sides of the equation with his offense and his defense.
He's 4 of 5 from the floor, 8 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, only 2 turnovers. Finally, after a long stint on the bench, Houston is back in. Jackson trying to bounce it through a crowd, but a 3-second violation. That's one of the risks when you pound it into the floor that long. One of the risks that somebody will linger too long in the paint.
Well, Bob, what you also have, too, is as Mark Jackson is backing down, instead of having Rick Smith for the 15-footer, they have one of the Davis boys. So the big guys can go back and help, and Ewing is back there to block a shot. I think that Indiana has to be very careful about going to that too much.
Doug, out the corner of Mark Jackson's eye, he looked and he saw Patrick Ewing standing there, and that made him hesitate.
Ewing high post, looking to work into his range. Mills catch, shoot, short.
Now see, when you see Ewing dribbling the basketball, that's where he'll have trouble with his wrist. Lost control of the basketball. His guard right now has to get him underneath the basket and punch it into him right away.
Jackson with 8 on the 24. Mark Jackson on the run, into the lane for Davis, who tries to muscle it up. They let the contact go, and New York comes away with the ball, and now Antonio Davis with a foul.
Again, Patrick Ewing's presence in the middle.
The importance in the fourth quarter of staying away from that free throw line, being in the penalty situation, the forced shot by Antonio Davis. Chris Mills digs it out. He knows what's at stake here. Antonio Davis with a hustle foul. But now Indiana in the penalty. So New York will shoot 2 free throws. New York only 2 fouls. They can still be very aggressive. They have 2 fouls to give before you get into the last 2 minutes. They can be very aggressive around the basket now.
Can't put an end to that. New York ball. They have outscored the Pacers in this fourth quarter 15-4.
Isaiah, you talked about it earlier in the telecast. You said Chris Mills could be a guy that could really help them today. He has. It doesn't show up in the box score. That time a big hustle play to knock the ball off Davis and give his team another possession.
And Reggie Miller bumps Houston.
And they caught Reggie Miller pushing Houston in the back that time. Those two are guarding each other so close. Reggie is trying to avoid the screen, and the little nudge right there pushes Houston in the back. Houston does what Reggie Miller does. He goes with the contact, and he gets the flop this time.
It's an 8-point game.
See, when you look out on the floor at Indiana, they have no inside scoring ability. And the only 2 scorers out on the floor from the perimeter is Miller and Mullins. And it's going to be very difficult for them to come back from a 9-point lead shooting jump shots.
Houston, all but invisible in the second half, hits 2 free throws. New York by 9. Reggie trying to draw the foul and make sure it's an active shooting foul, and it's on Patrick. That's his 3rd.
See, I thought Patrick played really good defense that time. Reggie,
except that right arm reached in on top of him, and you know when that right arm comes down, they're normally going to call a foul.
Oh man, Reggie Miller, nearly a 90% free throw shooter, hearing it from Spike Lee and the rest of the crowd as he misses the first. It's Mills.
I have back on back. Patrick, I know before the game you said that you were going to try to take a lesser role and try to do the things that you had to do, try to stay in the background, but it worked out.
Johnson. Patrick Ewing not expecting the pass, but dumps.
And the presence of Ewing either getting a piece of that or certainly making Reggie rush it. Allen Houston from down. Really responsible for Mullen getting wide open, but everybody's got to sprint back.
Houston gets a rebound. The feed to Larry Johnson. Beautiful pass from Charlie Fields.
And I'm sure he does that in huddles as well.
Houston, quick shot. Starks splits the defenders. Starks the hard drive. John Starks long to the goal. And the Knicks go up by 3.
Anytime you can involve Rick Smits in a pick and roll situation, you have a pretty good chance of getting a good shot. Actually, Smits defended well there, but then the perimeter defense of Indiana breaks down, and the Knicks have really had their way off the dribble.
Smits double team. Mullen a little fake. Jackson, and he's called for travel. Charles Oakley with words for Jackson after 2.5 remaining in the first. Knicks with a 3-point lead. Childs struggled. Malone had a long talk with him on the plane back, told him protect the ball, and Childs came up big in game 3. Houston coming up big so far in game 4. He's in double figures as the Knicks lead by 5.
And Mark Pope into the ball game for the Pacers. Jarrett McKee not available today. Out with that quadricep is Reggie Miller.
His first appearance of the series, rookie out of Kentucky. 3-point Knick lead, just under 2 minutes remaining. You see Ewing on the bench with 2 fouls. Charlie Ward. 7 on the shot clock. Ward fall away. Tough shot from Charles.
In the NBA, smaller player always kicks that leg out on the jumper.
Starks hard to the goal, but an offensive foul. Antonio Davis steps in and draws the charge. Starks upset with Dick Bavetta. It's his first foul. Pacers will get it back.
And right away, the official, Dick Bavetta, pointing to John Starks exactly where the defender was, outside that dotted circle where you have to be to set up and take the charge. Now Charlie Ward thought he may have forced a turnover here as the little-used Mark Pope a little bit shaky on the inbound pass.
Yeah, that Derek McKee is a huge loss for the Pacers. He's their best defender. Bird calls him one of the best defenders in the entire league. And he's so versatile. Miller. Shot clock down to 7. Miller tries to draw the foul. Houston does a good job avoiding. Cummings tips it to Ward. Starks down the other way. And John Starks gives the Knicks a 4-point lead.
And that's not Reggie Miller's.
Madison Square Garden, game 4. Starks. Chris Mills. Mills knocks it down to 2. Mills had not been performing well in the postseason. Was also suspended for game 5 against the Heat. And had a huge game yesterday as the Knicks bench was terrific. Mullen feeling he can take Starks, trying to draw the foul, and Chris Mullen fires.
Yesterday, scoring 16 as he was matched up against Charles Oakley at one end, and that got him out for some open floor looks.
Starks hits it off the screen. Jalen Ewing. Fall away for Ewing, drops it in. Johnson, tough fall away shot, rattle. Johnson against Pope. Johnson, the head fake, draws the foul, and one. Larry Johnson with a chance for a 3-point play. Nice feed to Houston, can't get it to go. Johnson on the foul. And the Knicks on a 9-0 run. They lead by 4.
And something you rarely see, after Larry Johnson made that little feed on the baseline, he followed through with a fake, almost like a quarterback, into the lane. And he had the defense all confused, enabling him to get in for that second shot opportunity.
Johnson scored the last 7 points by the Knicks. Reggie Miller, baseline move.
Going to try to go inside and get the other one, that third foul.
Another nice feed from Allen Houston.
Trying to extricate himself a little bit too aggressively.
Allen Houston draws the foul. Will they call it goaltending? No, they say it's on the way up. Larry Johnson trying to coerce Terry Durham.
For the most part, on the periphery.
Offensive foul on Best. He pushed off with the right arm. Stays involved in that.
And the antenna have to be up on the part of the officials after the stall. Beautiful feed by Childs inside to Allen Houston. After the earlier altercation between Reggie Miller and John Starks, the officials have to keep a very close eye on everything out there.
They'll be quick to call those. But Larry Bird quick to call a timeout right now. The Knicks on a 15-5 run. Gorgeous assist from Chris Childs. Allen Houston, the game's leading scorer with 15. The Knicks a 5-pointer strip by Chris Mullen. Ewing leans in. And the Knicks have their largest lead of the first half.
And clearly the Indiana Pacers not playing their best defense, all out of whack at the offensive end, don't really seem to have a clear idea of what they want to do. But get a good look here.
Miller all the time. 5-point Knick lead under 3 minutes remaining. Houston has a moment for a 3. Jackson back in the game, trying to force the action. Davis running the lane, and he's fouled by Johnson. Larry Johnson. But the Knicks, despite their terrific shooting, only hold a 3-point lead with 2.5 remaining in the second. Houston alters the shot. The tip by Ewing won't go. Fight for it. Oakley comes away with it, kicks it out to Childs. Allen Houston, wide open 3. It's good. Allen Houston from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 6.
And credit the offensive board work by Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley to create that second shot opportunity. That's when you'll get some wide open 3s.
18 points for Allen Houston. Miller. Cummings coming up high to set a screen. The feed again. Cummings underneath this time. Puts it in. And the Knicks back up by 2. Jackson, final seconds. Plenty of time to get the ball up for a good shot. Jackson shaking, leaning.
Mullen, but winding up with Chris Mullen's a tough cover for Oakley.
Ewing, strong move to the goal. Patrick Ewing now with 12 points. Knicks back up by 3. Mullen, of course, from New York, so friendly with a lot of the Knicks. With Oakley and Ewing, their days in the Big East. One of the most likable guys in the NBA.
But so often with that cross match in transition, you have to pick up the first man you see. Oh, beautiful follow by Dale Davis. Guy almost guiding that ball into the rim legally.
I think Mark Jackson will say that's a pass. 1-point Knick lead. We played nearly 2 minutes here in the third. Oakley finding Larry Johnson. Davis guarding him. Johnson double team. The head fake gets him away. Follow Ewing on the follow. Patrick Ewing The Knicks' best rebounder will really help them on the boards, and again, he continues to get more of a feel the more he plays.
And that's how I felt Patrick Ewing could help his team most at the offensive end. Do those little things. Keep the ball alive. Get second shots.
Goes for the fake. Beautiful feed from Smits. Allen Houston over Reggie Miller. Ewing tries to tip it away, but Smits holds on. Lost it momentarily. Jackson down low, Dale Davis. Miller, Houston trying to stay with him. Reggie Miller on the runner.
Floor, he's always looking for somebody to bump into to primarily get to the free throw line.
Pacers back up by 1. Ewing and Smits, they isolate. Mullen sneaking over to try and help. Ewing forcing it up. Shot won't go.
Carry that ball. He really gets his hand under and turns it over.
Ewing now from the field, 5 of 10. Jackson trying to post up. Knicks whistle for an illegal defense there first.
Obviously backing off in that particular instance. He knew he was clearly beat.
Jackson again looking to post up Charlie Ward. Just powers his way in. Mark Jackson, no problem.
Only fourth quarter yesterday, and I thought it really took the Pacers out of their offense. Of course, if he can score that easily, it's going to force the Knicks. I'm talking about Mark Jackson now. It's going to force the Knicks to have to come double team him.
Ewing slips. Allen Houston well short. Smits quick outlet. Pacers with the numbers of 3-on-2. Mullen spots up for 3. That's good. Pacers coming out in the third quarter much like they did yesterday. They opened up the second half with a 19-6 run. It's a 13-6 run to start. They lead by 6. Miller playing some physical defense and a travel call on Allen Houston. Carry the ball.
Key area. They've been able to break down the Indiana Pacer defenders. That time Reggie Miller with the little jostle forcing Houston to mishandle.
Johnson up on Mullen. Oakley's now guarding Dale Davis. Smits the runner across the lane. Drops it in.
The game with Rick Smits trying to make those moves on Patrick Ewing.
Charlie Ward, nice move. Can't complete it, but gets the rebound. And misses the layup. Dale Davis the rebound. Point blank range, and Ward could not put it down. Mullen for 3. Oakley quick outlet Houston. Knicks trying to run. Good transition defense from the Pacers. Ward for 3. That's good. Charlie Ward from downtown. And the Pacers lead is cut to 5.
Now Charlie Ward has been a high percentage three-point shooter throughout the season. Does not get them in high volume, but has been able to knock down the wide open one. As the Indiana Pacer defense, you saw how quickly they went and converged on Houston.
Jackson answers right. 8-point Indiana lead. Ward the penetration. Larry Johnson from 3-point range. And a foul call on Charles Oakley. And then answered right back with his own 3. Pacers again, this is their largest lead, 8-point advantage. Jackson now backing in. Ewing tries to help. Smits, Rick Smits in and out. Starks the rebound. Knicks trying to make it 2 in a row against the Pacers. Remember, Indiana has not lost 2 consecutive games since December 8th and 10th. That's an incredible streak. Ewing underneath reverse side, got it knocked away. Just over 5.5 remaining in the third. Miller fighting through several screens, turns, quick shot, it's good. Reggie
putting on an extra burst of speed to get himself wide open.
24 from Miller. Oakley, he's left wide open. Charles Oakley knocks it down. Only his second field goal. Oakley has not looked for his offense all that often.
Some people from the Pacers telling me before the game about Reggie Miller. I asked why the tough fourth quarter. There's a big, hard pick at half. So they say, hey, Reggie goes hard all game long. He wears down. He doesn't always come up big in fourth quarters. He's worked hard so far in 2.5.
Allen Houston draws the foul on Miller. Houston 1 of 2 from the line. Pacers lead by 7. 4.5 remaining third quarter. Childs back in the game. He's now guarding Miller. Starks is on Mullen. Houston on Jackson. 7 on the shot clock. Childs has 3 fouls. Miller gets him away momentarily but can't hit. Starks the rebound. Starks looking for an opening. Oakley barely got the pass in. Starks squares, wide open 3. It's good. John Starks from downtown, and that gets the crowd on its feet. Such an emotional part of the Knicks
Will now pull within 4. And Jeff Van Gundy has made a move, getting Houston off Miller, putting him on Mark Jackson, and getting Chris Childs, who has had some good moments against all the guards for the Indiana, to watch the dangerous Miller.
Beautiful move from Rick Smits. And the Pacers back up by 6. Smits with only 7 points. But remember, he only took 1 shot in the first half. He's already taken 4 here in the third quarter. It's been a quick quarter, just 3.5 remaining. Starks splits the defenders, kicks it out. Chris Childs, an open jumper. Childs knocks it down.
And the Knicks continue to bedevil the Pacers with their ability to take them off the dribble, use the high pick and roll, break down the defense, get in the lane, and find open shooters.
Miller finding Smits, but his bad pass deflected off the rim. Smits gets it back, feeds Dale Davis, and Davis hard foul by Boston Knicks. He can pick pretty much anyone. They saw Davis with the ball. Let's have a foul.
Here, he has had the trigger ready throughout the playoffs after suffering through a miserable April. He has been very aggressive. The back-to-back situation would affect him having
surgery on both his feet back in September of '96, and they're still not 100%. 2 for 10 yesterday from the line. It's his first attempt, misses the second. That foul, by the way, on Ewing, and that's his third. But Smith says his orthotics are so thick in his shoes that he's frequently off balance. A lot of that has to do with the scar tissue from the surgery. Starks trying to get it off the screen. 6 on the shot clock, a 3. It's good. John Starks, an off-balance 3. And the Knicks are with him, too. And the crowd again up on its feet. Chance of defense.
And Chris Childs continues to work to keep the ball out of the hands of Reggie Miller.
Dale Davis, a rare perimeter shot. Starks gone as the rebound. Knicks look to break. Davis nearly stole it. Houston being guarded by Mark Jackson. Davis helping out. Houston trying to find an opening. Jackson nearly knocked it away. And it's last touch by Houston. Pacers will get it back. Superb defense from Mark. The Knicks trailing by 2. Pacers with the ball. 2 minutes remaining in the third. Mark Jackson with a double-double, bringing it up. 11 points, 10 assists for Jackson. Starks is on him now. Childs on Miller. Jeff Van Gundy going with the defensive alignment. Jalen Rose back in the game. 7 on the shot clock. Rose looking to post, leans in. Top shot from Jalen Rose is Oakley.
Very quiet for the last 2.5 games. He is the one Indiana Pacer that can break defenses down.
The ball movement there for the Knicks. Childs a little ball fake. Starks 7 on the shot clock. Oakley tries to draw the foul, but a 3-second violation.
Reggie Miller puts Childs on him, and now Larry Bird comes with Jalen Rose to force Houston to guard him.
Pacers only 1 turnover in the third, much more efficient with the ball. An unlikely number for them in the first half when they had the 12. 6 on the shot clock. Antonio Davis bumped by Oakley. Fight for the ball. Davis has it, loses it, and there's 1 left on the 24, and it's going to be Nick ball anyway. Charles Oakley's physical defense forcing that to out right now. Ewing and Smith each with 3 fouls. Jackson on Houston. Houston will try and take advantage there. On the pull-up baseline, Allen Houston can't get it. Dale Davis the rebound. Pacers lead by 4. Just over a half minute remaining in the third. Miller at 3. Childs on the penetration. The pass deflected by Jackson. And Jackson
getting a little bit hungry to get it up.
Miller had 20 at halftime. Has 4 here in the third quarter. You see the difference between the shot and game clock as the third quarter winds down. Oakley, an open jumper, high arcing shot. A rainbow from Oakley. And the Pacer lead cut to 2 with 11 seconds remaining. Oakley, 8 points, 9 boards. Starks trying to hold off Mark Jackson. And there's the foul. And a technical foul has been called. John Starks, a personal and a technical. Now, he got called for a flagrant earlier, but that doesn't count. A technical, if you get two, you're automatically ejected. That's only his first technical.
Now, you'll remember, Mike, back when that incident happened between Reggie Miller and John Starks, and Starks hit him high with the elbow in the face. It was Terry Durham, the official, that immediately the whistle that earned him the technical foul, and not another flagrant one. Had they called another flagrant one, he'd be out of here.
So just a personal and the technical. We begin the fourth quarter. Pacers leading by 3. Allen Houston with the jumper. Larry Johnson, the offensive rebound. The Knicks will get a new 24. Oakley. Johnson against Dale Davis. Best trying to help out. Johnson flips it up and puts it in. Larry Johnson pulls the Knicks within 1.
Well, these are the kind of shots that Larry Johnson has had to resort to over the last few years. Lost his explosiveness and has now developed those little floaters, which lets him escape from the defense and still get the shot off. Very tough shots for just about anybody but Larry Johnson.
Rose tries the right hand. Oakley the rebound. Knicks look to run again. Childs pass ahead to Johnson. Johnson underneath draws the foul. Shot won't go as Antonio Davis picks up his 4th. There have not been a lot of fast breaks in this game. Knicks taking advantage there.
Well, Larry came from the challenge, and then Larry turning on a burst of speed to get behind the Pacer defense, but unable to get up there and explode hard to the basket and letting the defender get back in there and hack it.
Knicks now 13 of 16 from the free throw line, 81%. It's always the last thing that you talk about, but certainly in the postseason it wins games for you. Johnson, 1 of 2. Game tied at 80. We've played a minute here in the 4th. And a lot of banging as they're trying to fight through screens. Charles Oakley with a shove on Reggie Miller. 4 fouls on Oakley. First team foul.
Reggie Miller kind of smiling a little bit, going in the penalty so he can get free throws. So far, Chris Childs doing an outstanding job on Reggie Miller, pitching a shutout since he has come in guarding him. Ward changes in the 3rd quarter.
And Matt Ward and Childs in the game at the same time right now, with Travis Best in there instead of Mark Jackson. Antonio Davis, Ewing back in. Davis across the lane, misses the layup. Starks tips it to Ewing. Charlie Ward, a 3. It's good. The Knicks will set it up again. 11 offensive rebounds for the Knicks. Childs for 3. It's good. Shooting in the first half. Johnson against Antonio Davis. Charlie Ward, another 3. Puts it in. Up for the Knicks. Ewing finding Larry Johnson. Beautiful pass from Patrick Ewing. And the Knicks back up by 6.
Excellent execution on the part of the Knicks on the little pick and flare. And then Larry Johnson just diving into the open area, covering up his defender. The extra pass made by Patrick Ewing as he continues to be a facilitator.
His 3rd assist. Smits one-on-one with Ewing. Tough shot for Smits. Won't go. There was some contact as Childs comes the other way. 4-on-2 break. Alley-oop to Ewing. Touch pass to Johnson. Gorgeous feed from Patrick Ewing. And the Knicks have their largest lead of the game. Timeout, Indiana. Even the series. Childs gets it out to Ewing, who puts it in.
Chris Childs making another valuable contribution. Cheesesteak Dave almost lost his footing there, able to get himself under control and make that feed.
6 assists for Childs. Smits the long range. That's good. Rick Smits from way outside. Smits now with 12 points in the quarter. First time this series we've hit the century mark by either team. Ewing against Smits. Patrick Ewing across the lane. Blocked by Antonio Davis. Pacers come the other way. They've got a 4-on-3. Miller underneath forces it up. Tried to draw the foul. Ewing the rebound. 3 minutes left. Knicks lead by 5. Charlie Ward kicks it out. Childs the drive, left-handed. Johnson's tip will not go, and Smits gets the rebound. Both teams pushing it up the floor.
Like two heavyweight fighters just wailing away at each other.
Jackson driving against Childs. Mark Jackson won't go. The tip misses. Ewing the rebound. Antonio Davis had position but couldn't put it down. And they're getting on their feet at the Garden. And the Knicks will call timeout. Standing ovation with just under 2.5 remaining. 5-point Knick lead here in Game 4. Patrick Ewing now with 17 points. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. With 12 of the 15 Pacer points in the fourth quarter. Ewing, quick turnaround, way off Antonio Davis, the rebound.
The defense there by Smits to get right up on Patrick Ewing's favorite little spot on the floor, challenge the shot.
Approaching 2 minutes remaining. Knicks leading by 5. Childs following Miller through a number of screens. 8 on the shot clock. Miller, a foul before the shot. John Starks reached in. Knicks not over the limit. It's only the 3rd team foul. 5th on Starks, however, and the Pacers will inbound.
Mike, this is what I always wondered about good off-the-ball players and good shooters when they had to work that hard to get open. How did they ever have enough strength to finally shoot the ball? Reggie Miller's done it for a long, long time.
For both teams, next foul puts them in the penalty. That was the first foul in the last 2 minutes as we're under the 2-minute mark. There you see Smits dominating in the 4th. Knicks 8 of 11 from 3-point range. And offensive rebounds very close. Smits the drive on Ewing. Ewing shuts him off, knocks it away. Smits turns and shoots and puts it in. Rick Smits again. 14 points in the fourth quarter, and it's a 3-point game.
Beautiful handoff fake by Rick Smits to get Patrick Ewing to relax defensively.
Minute and a half left in the fourth. Knicks trying to even the series at 2. Pacers looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead. Starks. Oakley with 6 on the shot clock. A travel. He would have been called for the offensive foul, only had walked before. Excellent defense from Smits.
So many times this year for Larry Bird, he has finished the game with his bench. Here Charles Oakley trying to make something happen. Totally out of control there. Referee Dick Bavetta had his choice, but Larry Bird challenged his bench players coming into this game to certainly play better than they did yesterday. He's not even gone to them. It would normally be Travis Best, Jalen Rose, Derek McKee, but he's been unavailable due to injury. Basically Bird going with his starters, Antonio Davis instead of Dale Davis.
Just over a minute remaining. Knicks holding on to a 3-point lead. They've led by as many as 8 here in the fourth. Oakley picks up Miller. Smits tries to go backdoor, and Antonio Davis hammered by Oakley. 79%. And the Knicks by 2 with 19.3 remaining. Again, the Pacers still have 2 timeouts left, 2 fulls, and a 20. Clutch free throws from 15 points. He's made some big passes in the fourth quarter. You saw Ewing shaking his head at Miller saying, no, not today. Smits, Antonio Davis, Jackson, Mullen, and Reggie Miller on the floor.
And I'm sure Jeff Van Gundy warned his team, watch Reggie Miller behind the 3-point line, trying to jump into you.
Jackson gets it. Shot clock is turned off. Pacers down 3 with the ball. Miller looking, finding Smits. Smits leads in, puts it up, won't go, tipped out, picked up Mullen, kicks it to Jackson. Miller, a wide open 3. It's good.
4 times in a row, they've gone to McKee. The problem, 1 for 4.
Starks for 3.